Wagon Train!
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 24th of February, 2019. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today is Zachary Burgess.
On a wagon, or a train, possibly.
And Robert Kemp.
So one of your cousins, Dan.
Oh, no, wait, yeah, that's right. Dan is on the train, obviously. Dan Train.
I am the train.
He is the train, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just attached to him. We're dragged behind him.
Well, that's how the podcast is meant to work, yes, in theory.
Dan is absolutely driving this podcast.
I mean, trains definitely predate the variety powered by steam, etc. Right? You've got wagons.
Wagon
and then,
trains.
yeah, there's probably other kinds of trains.
The trains aren't powered by the wagons, right?
A train, I think, is just things in a
train
long
of
line
wagons.
traveling, right?
Yeah. They're not even attached to each other. It's just a line of wagons, really.
If
Exactly.
a steam train is a train powered by steam, a wagon train is... Oh.
No.
Actually, there are no steam trains, are there? I suppose there's just steam locomotives that pull trains, right?
Oh.
Well, it's the locomotives
snap.
and the wagons become a train.
Become a train, yeah, when you connect it together. So you could have a steam-powered steam wagon train if you really wanted to, like, attach your traction engine to a whole bunch of wagons and pull them.
I guess.
Is it a wagon train if you just had a load of, like, wagons riding?
In a line?
Yeah, like-
Yes, it is.
I mean, I know it's like... Is that what it actually is?
Yes,
Like,
that's
yeah.
the point.
not just a convoy.
No.
Well, it's kind of the same. I don't know what the
it's the same
difference
thing,
between a
but-
convoy and a train is.
Just a different word that someone used at some point.
Yeah. I think they would definitely refer to as trains rather than convoys, like the wagon trains on the Oregon Trail, right, going to the west in America. But I mean, that must predate that
Train
period. Yeah.
Yes. Well, not by much, though, probably.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's probably the way you carry supplies, right? Right back to like ancient times is like on trains of wagons, right? What else are you going to use?
Slaves. Train slaves.
Slave trade.
Maybe there just weren't like enough easily available wagons up to that point to form a train. Like you had maybe one wagon, not like a whole shit ton of wagons.
Right. But if you had a shit ton of like soldiers in your army and like horses, cavalry or something, wouldn't you want to bring like equipment and stuff and tents and things along with the army when you're moving? Surely you'd need some kind of train going on. Don't know. How did logistics work in medieval times, or even Roman times, or even ancient Greek times?
Horse trains.
I mean, I guess they had some kind of convoy / train.
Underground pork,
You know.
underground pork pie conveyor belts.
God damn it. That's an old reference to our own podcast.
What? I mean, that's quite
Remembering
advanced
the random
technology.
sections of yore.
I mean, to be fair, like the Romans had some pretty weird, like aqueduct systems and stuff. I'm sure they could have sorted out pork pie conveyance systems.
Yes.
I mean, canals?
Canals? What
Canals.
is that even a reference to? Canals?
This is just my like interjection for the podcast. Just like whenever something there's a bit of silence that I don't fully understand, just go. But canals.
Canals are a bit inflexible. You kind of have to build them in your own country, right? You can't really. If you're going on some
Yeah,
military
true.
campaign.
Well,
Can't really.
I mean, it's not unheard of, right? Where people just sort of go whilst they're in the middle of invading, they sort of build
as
their
they
way
go.
across.
Yeah, it's true.
Like those supposed boat roads. I forget where that is. Where they like
Boat roads.
They made like someone had built a road so they could put rollers on it to roll boats across a bit of land they couldn't
Right.
sail over or something.
Yeah,
Or
totally.
sail round. That happens.
Kind of.
Definitely. But not,
Canals?
but not a train, sadly. It's all about trains.
You have a train of boats? Boat
You
train?
could have, but that's not called. That's definitely a convoy, though, isn't it? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. What happens? Can you get
Late
like
at that point.
It's not really going to work on a canal if it's got any locks, because you'd have to wait for them all to go through, like individually. That'd be I suppose you have to anyway. Queue for the locks.
Like, is that just why they made the boats long? You
I
don't want to
guess.
try and put multiple boats in the same lock. You just have one big long boat instead.
One long one.
I g-
Yeah.
I suppose that makes sense. Yeah.
If you make it too long, it can't go around the corners.
Although then they fuck that up by making it so that in like a lot of the locks you can fit two long boats next to each other.
Yeah.
They didn't also make it wide. They only made it long.
That's so that you have actually room to turn them, though, presumably, in the non-lock part of the canal.
Yes.
I don't know.
You could still make the locks
Why not?
really thin, right?
Why are they narrow? Yeah. Yeah. But some locks are narrow, right? And can only fit one, right?
Don't
don't
think
know.
I've ever seen one that was thin enough that I'd say you couldn't fit two.
Oh,
I think they mostly were always at least too wide, from what I remember.
Hmm. I'm sure we can improve on the efficiencies of Victorian canal systems on our podcast.
I guess
Easily.
maybe it would make it slightly more efficient because if you had two boats coming in opposite directions, one could be going out whilst the other one was going in, like simultaneously.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You could
So
just remove
one's-
the need for locks completely by giving everyone a jet ski.
No, you couldn't.
You just ramp it.
Ramp it. What, literally have ramps? So
Yeah. You,
And
you
then-
go fast enough, you just
So they're
melt
two
way up there.
separate bits of water, like that are on different levels, and
Yeah.
then one of them has a ramp at the end of it, and you have to sort of clear it and Evel Knievel it into the next.
Yeah, if you're going the other way, it's just a slightly less sick jump.
Okay. I mean, could work.
It's quicker. Efficiency.
It's only quicker if you're capable of going quicker. That's like the main
Yeah.
problem here.
Oh yeah, you just make better boats, mate. Have some fat engines on that.
I mean, if you make the boats that good, they could just fly, but they're going. They don't need a canal.
Where we're going, we don't need canals.
Indeed. Imagine if the time machine in that film was actually a boat.
I mean, they made it train and a car. They
Yeah.
could have done a boat.
Exactly. They missed out on the whole waterborne
Actually, like,
aspect.
So even like the fastest of boats go like 88 miles per hour.
Well, speedboats, probably yes. I would say they probably do.
But 88's really fast
It's
on
really
water.
fast.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to
I mean-
get a canal boat up to 88 miles an hour. Even if it was like, even if you imagine it being modern, like hella modified like the steam train, I don't think you'd be able to get a canal boat to go 88.
No. I mean, obviously, like Donald Campbell in Bluebird or whatever reached 88 miles an hour, but he saw some serious shit. So
Yeah.
that's probably not good. I think they just they're restoring that, aren't they? Because they fished it out of the lake
Yeah.
a while
Hmm.
back. But yeah, it doesn't seem sensible to go that fast in the presence of water.
Unless you're a hovercraft. You'd probably do it in a
Yeah.
hovercraft.
Even then, they're not that fast, are they?
Well,
Hovercraft?
no, regular hovercrafts aren't that fast, though.
No.
But it would probably be easier to make one that could theoretically go 88
Probably.
because you're not worrying about contacting the water at all.
Or steering.
Yes, you only need to go in a straight line.
You'd have to be pretty big to be stable. The size of the skirt would have to be pretty large.
I guess there's
Yeah,
those
even small
plans,
hovercrafts.
aren't they? That's the
Then-
cheaty way, isn't it? To use.
Yeah.
They're basically flying, though, aren't they? They're like
Kind of. Yeah.
they're using like wing in ground effect, where being closer to the surface gives you more lift. But they're basically jet planes, so that's kind of cheating. I still think they're kind of cool, though. The Caspian Sea Monster, giant Russian boat plane thing with cruise missiles.
So incredibly useful.
Yeah,
It's the Metal Gear of its age.
it's very. I mean, that was in Metal Gear, right? They
Well,
put
yeah.
it into Metal Gear, didn't they? Because it was so Metal Gear. They put it's in like Metal Gear Solid 3, I think.
Don't know if it's been in a Ace Combat yet.
It probably has.
That probably has, yeah. But it
Although I
wouldn't be
guess
that
Ace
fun
Combat
to
doesn't
fight.
normally go very close to the ground
Yeah.
until more recent ones.
Oh, you
People are
can
saying
fly it.
good
No,
things
it'd be
about that
it's like-
new Ace Combat. I noticed, which is interesting.
Yeah, I got the general vibe that it's
the same as they always are.
Well, yeah, and if you want some good
Well,
dogfighting, it's there. But that's all there is. It's like not massively inventive. It's like it's a
No.
bit of a radio play for some of the story stuff,
Totally.
Just happen.
It always was.
Which is a bit of a Japanese trait now in games. Just in general, it's like things happen whilst you're doing other things, and you never see that other stuff. And the cutscenes are supposedly perhaps that little too introspective. I suppose the characters talking to themselves about their feelings.
Yeah, but that's what that game is about, though. Really, isn't it?
About their feelings. We want bombastic, crazy set pieces.
No, that's what the gameplay part's for. You have the ridiculous gameplay and the ridiculous but in a completely different way story.
I don't want people to be interested. I want them to have like verbal arguments with each other. To be in each other's faces. Be crazy that way.
Yeah, like Maverick and Iceman getting annoyed with each other in the locker room or something. Goose! Goose! Apparently they changed the name of Carol Danvers' cat in Captain Marvel to be Goose. I think originally it was Chewbacca was the name of the cat.
Right. I mean, but Disney could keep that name.
Yeah, true.
But no one likes Star Wars.
No, bold.
Well, China don't like Star Wars, that's for sure.
China don't care.
China don't care, but they do care about Marvel apparently. So
why don't China care about Star Wars? What's happened there?
They never have ever. And
It's too Western.
Yeah.
But they like space, right? Chinese like space.
Sure. I mean, I was just reading they've launched more satellites than the US last year. But apparently they don't care about Star Wars and never did. So, which never used to be a problem until China became like a massive market for movies.
Weird.
And that's why in Rogue One has that ridiculous pair of characters with the kind of monk guy, Donnie Yen, and his like Chinese fiction trope, like berserker dude friend, right? It's like,
what is it that's supposed to be like? It's like we really desperately need to break this market. How do we do it?
That's why they're there.
I mean, they were cool enough.
The berserker dude, Donnie Yen was quite good, but the other guy was a bit superfluous. Like,
I mean, I don't want to necessarily play the race card or anything, but is that why the sisters in the last film were there?
Right, yeah.
I mean,
Rose Tito or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's not exactly. I mean, I really hope not. But now you've said that they're trying to pierce China. I can't help but think.
But she's not. She's American, isn't she? That actress? I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I guess there never was much representation because Star Wars started out like super white, and then I don't think there were any black people in the first Star Wars film, and then they were like, oh shit, and put Lando in
the guy that voiced Vader.
Oh yeah, that's true. Purely a voice, yeah.
Not any main characters, maybe. There might have been some background dude at some point.
No, I don't think they were because all the background characters were like extras from England in 1977. So I don't think there. I don't know.
I think I'm getting confused with Spaceballs here, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that. Oh no, wait.
Oh
yeah, you're thinking of those dudes on the bridge. Yeah, I can picture that quite easily.
Yeah.
So they tried to fix it by casting Billy D. Williams in Empire, which is awesome. But still no Asian characters, and now it's like a kaleidoscope. Every single race possible in Star Wars now,
which is great. It makes a whole lot more sense.
It does, yeah. But like, if you look at Star Trek,
they've made me a cynic about it.
I know, but it's Disney. Just think about it.
Yeah, but it's not even cynic. It's like it's the same thing with like the whole controversy about Battlefield 5 and all that, where it's just like everyone's just trying to play that maneuver, and it's just like, no, just don't.
Battlefield 5, what, you mean the female thing?
Yeah, and like all the representation and here's the disabled character and all this. And like
I don't like this with the Star Wars thing.
You can't succeed at that. Like if you don't do it, people are going to call you out for not doing it. If you do it, people are going to call you out for doing it. It's just like, but not doing it is surely the better option because it's more convenient.
I don't know.
I think the thing that annoys me about the Rogue One thing is not that they're these that they're played by a certain people. I think that's obviously great. Like, just take the characters that you want, have a diverse cast playing them, but don't put in characters that are purely designed to target. The actual character itself is designed to target the market rather than like just the casting.
Yeah.
Being diverse, which is totally great. Anyway. Yes.
I think I might hate that film now.
I don't really like Rogue
more than you already did, you mean?
No. Rogue One's all right. I like
it's okay. Yeah. Oh. And the first Mexican, right? The dude, the like, it's like super diverse.
Yeah, but it's not the world's happiest Mexican.
No, that's true.
Star Wars.
Right.
Let's not talk about more Star Wars.
We did that already. What else have we got to chat about?
I did get into a conversation about. I did get into a conversation about comparing the chase in the last Star Wars film, the chase, quote unquote, in the ships, to Battlestar's 33, or was it 33? Is that what it was called? Anyway, that second episode of the entire blooming series, and where it's like, yeah, Battlestar did it good, Star Wars did not.
I see, the chase. Yeah, because that was brilliant, that first episode. I think that won an Emmy, didn't it? That first episode of Battlestar. After
it was the first non-pilot episode, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, they did it brilliantly. Yeah, they could have done it like that, where they kept jumping. It would have been more frightening, I think, rather than slow speed.
Well, in the conversation we were having, it's like you kind of wanted to see them getting run down by it, because that was the whole point of the Empire doing this, right? They were supposed to be like wearing them down, and everyone's looks fine. You're just like, we're just.
I mean, they blew up all the other ships. Yeah. They had those blow up occasionally, even though space physics and all that.
Space physics.
You shouldn't dramatically suddenly slow down when your engines turn off. That's not how space works.
No.
Not how it is in Star Wars. They have the same space as Eve does, jelly space.
Jelly space. Depends by what space magic they're deciding to make their engines work. What flavour of space magic do we have today?
Man, I just want to watch Battlestar now.
Yeah, I might have made that mistake.
Oh, well. Never mind.
Dun, 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 dun. I can't even. This is a worrying thought. I couldn't remember what the music for Battlestar was, and all I remembered was that drumming during the space fights. But then, while I was trying to think of what it sounded like, the start of the Yu-Gi-Oh theme tune came into my head.
Nice.
What is wrong with me?
Memes is what's wrong with you, basically.
The internet sucks. It doesn't really. Oh no, it has, because it has that sort of weird, sort of, that sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
That warbly string, or is it a string, or is it some kind? I don't even know what it is, but it's that sort of tone, and I'm like, oh, Battlestar do that, but it's like, but then I just went to Yu-Gi-Oh in my head, and that beat drops. It's bad, thank you.
I mean, they kind of both are. Like, the Battlestar one is okay, but it's the drum part that's the important part, right? But like weird with this like choral singing and stuff. It's like, okay, skip this part and get to the exciting drums.
It's time to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those theme tunes where it's just like they just randomly did things. It's like it's not. It just randomly changes style and like halfway through for no apparent reason.
A little bit like Charlie Sloth now that I think about it. Yeah.
But then probably you never even hear the whole thing. Like, it's probably a shortened version of like a 30-second. So that kind of intro where like you get used to hearing the cut down version, and then when you actually hear the full one, you're like, oh yeah, shit, there's all this other bit.
There's probably a rap in there somewhere. Excuse me for a can opening sequence. Well, actually, that's pretty.
Apart from Rob cannot open again.
Well, I cut my nails. That's pretty damn solid. There we go.
There. Is it time for the news?
Yes.
What have we got?
News is it? I'm
this
drinking
week?
again. News. Well, like shortly after our last podcast, the Nintendo Direct happened.
Yeah, it sure is.
Exciting times.
Kind of.
It's like Nintendo's mini E3s, but
But
you
more
might have
frequent.
you might have guessed from Zach's kind of. It wasn't all that of an interesting one.
Was it an
Even
okay
for,
one?
like, it was it wasn't even all that interesting for the one thing that it was meant to mostly be about.
Which was?
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Three Houses.
Even for that, it wasn't
That
interesting.
got the longer segment.
Well, that was the one
time,
that was
yeah.
in the like title of the presentation or whatever. It's the Nintendo Direct featuring Fire Emblem. When they call out the name of the game specifically, that means that's like this is going to be dead in the middle of this thing and take up the most amount of time.
Yeah, like Mario Tennis Aces did when they were talking about that, and how they had Smash Directs, I suppose. They didn't really.
Yeah, I guess they kind of skipped having it in any of the other directs.
But they've done that. They did that for Splatoon as well. I think.
Yeah.
Like when 2 was relatively new.
But yeah, it wasn't even well. The trouble with the Fire Emblem thing was that, well, from my perspective anyway, the trouble with the Fire Emblem thing was they basically showed about 5 seconds of the actual gameplay, and the entire rest of the time they just spent talking about the lore and the, like, school tutoring system that you have to, relationships between your units and all that stuff.
It was not a good presentation, and it's like, I don't know, I'm not too big on my Fire Emblem anyway. But this did nothing to make it look like a game I actually wanted to play. It's like the actual, like, I come for the strategy part,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
If I was going to. And it's like they showed so little of it.
And it just puts even more of a, like, nail in the coffin of Advance Wars. Because when the producer of Intelligent Systems was like, I could work out how to put relationships into Advance Wars, so we started making Fire Emblem instead. And now it's like, and now we've forgotten how to make a strategy games entirely, so we're just making a dating simulator.
Does seem a little like that, yeah.
God damn it.
They should just split the series, just make 2 new franchises, or maybe you bring back Advance Wars to just do the strategy, and then you go and have
Fire Emblem as a pure management game. No actual strategy game at all. Just relationships.
me dating.
Yeah.
They must know
Anyway.
people want Advance Wars, or is it just really just us that wants it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're alone.
No.
I really don't. But
It's like, and sometimes
Fire
I think
Emblem sells
it's hard to
at the
tell if
moment.
it's just us or whether it's like Jet Set Radio Future, or like, is it just us that wants that, or is there loads of people who want that? It's hard to know.
No, there's definitely a fan base for Jet Set Radio Future that are ravenous for a remake or a re-release of some kind. That definitely exists. Mostly, I only see it mostly because of the Hideki Naganuma links on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Right.
naturally.
And it does seem pretty much constant.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but that's always like that on the internet. It's like any kind of obscure thing, you'll have just this consistent amount of people. They'll always be there saying, "We want more of this."
It's Jet Set Radio Future. Come on. Future 2. Bring it back, Sega.
I kind of want an actual proper good Tony Hawk game as well now. It's time. I know it's never going to happen now because they screwed it up, but like,
Didn't
come
they
on.
put out a mobile game?
Yep, they
yeah,
did.
well, it's
in
not
the last
they,
month
though.
or something
Yeah.
that was rubbish.
Yep.
Yeah, well. That's
And
why I
it's
was watching the
not
quick
actually
look. I
really
was
a
like,
Tony Hawk's game, of course.
because obviously Giant Bomb did a quick look of that, obviously.
Yeah, somehow.
somehow. And it was like, oh man, I could actually do with playing Tony Hawk. That was a good game back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that game, the mobile game, did look bad, but it kind of almost looked better than 5.
Yeah, it's true.
It looked like a more functional game than 5, possibly. But it was clearly like not actually a Tony Hawk's game. It was a other skating game with Tony Hawk shit Brandon stuck on it.
What's
would
the
you go
best
back
way
to?
to play? Like, can I get a good emulator for 3? What would you? Which version
GameCube,
would
so
you?
you should be
would
able to
you-
run that on Dolphin.
Would you emulate GameCube or what's the best version? GameCube.
suppose It got a PlayStation 2 release. As
Yeah.
well, right?
PS2,
So you could do it that
Xbox.
way. Well, Xbox emulation is still
Still bad.
Still not good. So either the PlayStation 2 emulation is pretty good, and GameCube for the most part is now pretty good. So either of those options are probably doable.
Worth looking out.
But I assume we had the GameCube version, so go that road.
Yep, I've got a copy of it.
For legal reasons,
or just
go that way.
Put the actual disc in a GameCube and play it.
Well, that too.
Well, yeah, I know.
But Dan doesn't have a Wii or a GameCube hanging about it.
No, I don't. Not on my flat. No.
So yeah, do it that way. Even better, you could get the best of both worlds and play the GameCube version with your PS4 controller.
Yeah, completely.
You could do that.
I could definitely do that.
Although the music from Tony Hawk's 2, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 3 was pretty good.
What was that Tony Hawk's HD collection? Was that 2 and 3, or was it just 1 and 2 or something?
I don't think it had all the music licensed, though, did it?
No, it definitely didn't.
So that kind of screws that.
Yeah.
Like the Jet Set Radio remake. No Jurassic 5 in that, apparently.
Oh, what?
I haven't played it yet, but I've got a copy, so we'll see at some point. Yeah, because I had to improvise on all the mission briefings or some of the cutscenes, and it's like, no, can't have that.
So yeah, we were talking about Nintendo Direct there for a moment.
Yeah, for a moment.
For a moment. Well, they opened with Mario Maker 2.
Yep, they did. Which is really the only other important thing.
Yeah.
And that's the obvious thing, right? I mean, makes total sense on Switch, so let's do it. Yes, awesome. And it's a full-blown sequel, right? It's 2. Yes. It's not like a port.
Well, it's everything from the first with some new stuff.
Well,
great.
Well, we assume it's everything from the first, but I mean,
they haven't really talked about it.
They haven't actually said anything.
They've only put the trailer up, but it looks like everything they've done before. It looks like they've added stuff like fixed camera levels, and
they haven't shown anything of original Mario Brothers skin yet. There was none of that in that trailer.
Oh, right, you're right. Yeah, they were focusing on world mostly.
Yeah,
but Cat Mario's there.
Yes, and the 3D world stuff.
But it's not 3D.
No. Unless it is. That'll be the secret.
The secret late reveal.
But I doubt it. That'd probably be a bit too hard.
That would be really cool if they did that. If they, because it would be relatively...
Well, it'd be block-based, yeah. You could just build a level theoretically like that.
That would be really cool if they did that, but I don't think they will.
No. But you never know.
But yeah, it's good to have it back. I wonder if they're going to keep the network of Mario Maker levels from the original.
Yeah, people have been wondering about whether you could just, or whether they've already changed too much of physics and bug fixes and stuff that might just break a lot of those levels from the original.
On a sort of related note, I hear people who have been playing the Dreams beta or something are pretty hype on it.
Yes, well, there's always going to be a certain amount of people that are hype about that, but it's the classic problem. It's like the same problem as Little Big Planet has, where it's you need very insane people to make shit for it, but then that is a very limited pool of people.
in fairness, it just depends how good the content that Media Molecule are putting in there themselves are. It's it needs that starting point, and the rest will be nice.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's how I felt about the first 2 Little Big Planets. It's they were good games with this extra stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
What else we got? Smash version 3 update.
I was momentarily excited by the fact that the Smash patched the other day, but it was only 2.01.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
What did they say? What they were adding in 3, or they were just
saying? No, they still haven't revealed it. They were like, we're making a patch, and we're pointing out that we're making a patch, which means it has something important in it. It's not just balance, or at least that's my assumption.
Right. But they did say that Joker, the Persona character, is coming in April.
Or well before the end of April.
Yeah.
So presumably in April. Yeah. Or it could come in March. Who knows?
That does mean that the fighter release schedule is fairly slow.
Well, they've got 5 to get through by 2020. So
just this year. They got 5 this year, have they? So it's
they did say they said
do it every 2.5 months. Then
well, they said the last one would be. If you look at the fighter pass, it says the whole of it will be out by sometime in 2020. So
okay.
Not
so we could be like
unspecified amount of 2020.
So it could be like 3 months between each character, I guess. So they at least told us that. Captain Toad is getting both a free co-op update to the Switch version, and a new paid single player DLC pack coming as well. So it's, I mean, I guess the surprise is that they're supporting that game at all.
Well, like, I mean, they already made this whole remake of it.
Yeah, but it's quite a long time since they both re-released it and since the original, and now they're doing more content. It's like, that's kind of interesting. But
I think they like it. I think they just like making those puzzles.
Oh, yeah, no, and the people that play Captain Toad are
like it. Yeah,
big on it. Yeah, it's a cool thing. Bloodstained, the full Bloodstained, got a release date of summer, so not a release date at all, really.
No,
that game looks. Am I not alone here? But that game looks kind of bad.
Oh.
Like, there's something about the 2.5D look that looks really clunky and like not good. Perhaps they should have stuck to the 2D look, like how it looked like in the Kickstarter or whatever.
Well, I mean, the later Castlevanias did do a 2.5D technically,
but I don't think those are as
it was better animated then. I don't think this looks as well animated as what I've ever seen of the later Castlevania.
No, it just looks stiff and yeah. I wasn't all that hype on it anyway.
Well, no, because we don't care about Castlevania.
No, not massively. But I don't know. If I put Bloodstained next to Symphony of the Night, I think I'd prefer the look of Symphony.
Well, yes.
So it's anyway. Dragon Quest XI is coming to the Switch with an S edition, but you've got to love this. So this is an early contender for the Brand Madness award, and its full title is Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
So Echoes of an Elusive Age was the subtitle to Dragon Quest XI at first, but they slapped the S before that, so it's Dragon Quest XI S, and the full subtitle is now Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
And then in the logo, the S is at the end, not even in the middle.
Yeah, it's weird. it's really bizarre. But the changes they're making to this actually seem really good. Like, Dragon Quest XI is not supposed to be a bad game, right? It's supposed to be pretty good, but it had some serious issues, such as the terrible audio quality of the music. Like, it was just
that's the one that everyone cares about.
Yeah, like bad MIDI versions of the music. But they said that they didn't imply that all of it was getting redone. They said like field and battle music's not saying all. They sort of weirdly categorized it, but that some of it at least is going to get fully reorchestrated, like played by an orchestra properly, which would be great. But the weirdest thing is the 16-bit mode they're adding, so you can play the entire game in a retro style. Sounds kind of rad. I don't know. It looks
sure, yeah.
Like, it looked like they put the effort in.
That would only be cool if it's as fast a switch as like the Halo one. Like, you don't want to have a loading screen to toggle that. You want to just be able to literally just hit a button, immediately jump to that version.
Yeah, that'd be strange. Like, you move in the 16-bit world and you've moved to that location in the 3D one.
Yeah, it's like it's going to have to teleport you around to keep up with the relative scale.
That'd be pretty weird.
I mean, it'd be a great way to fast travel, because presumably the scale will be quite in favour of the 16-bit.
Yeah, maybe. It's just really weird. I kind of hope that version comes to the other platforms as well. But yeah, who knows?
Or at least a music patch for the PC version.
Yeah, something like that. Starlink is getting more Star Fox content in April for free. Further cementing the fact that that's the new Star Fox.
Apparently.
So it's not Starlink, it's Star Fox. Tokyo RPG Factory are making another RPG, but they're upgrading to 3D this time rather than their previously 2D inspired stuff like I Am Setsuna, called Oninaki in summer. Yoshi's Crafted World has a release date of March 29th. Oh yeah, Fire Emblem 3 Houses has got a release date as well, July 26th.
Yeah.
Tetris 99.
Tetris.
Have you ever thought? I mean, what's the current trend in video games right now? How do we make our video game cool? We make it Battle Royale. So let's take Tetris and attempt that.
How the hell does that work?
Well, it's kind of weird. So it's a bit like Battle Tetris in that whenever you're scoring lines, you're sending junk lines to other players.
Mm.
But those junk lines can go to any of the other 99 players that are playing simultaneously with you. Except you have the ability to sort of influence where they go. So it displays every other player's current grid, I suppose, in a little panel on the screen at the same time as yours in the middle. And you can use the left analog stick or right analog stick, something like that. You can use one of the
possibly.
Yeah, you can use one of the sticks somehow to push it in a quadrant. And it'll be like, send your blocks over here. So I guess if you see someone in trouble over there, you could really screw them over by sending more blocks over that way. Things like that. Apparently it's okay. The novelty wears thin, because it's all it is.
Well, yes, but it's because it's literally just Tetris. Not much to it, which is why it's a free game.
Yeah. The good Tetris players would rather that it was can I just start for the last 20 players where it gets interesting.
Yeah, because it actually gets fast and stuff.
Yeah. It's we don't have to grind through the first 80 players to get there. But interesting. It's free, and you can, if you've got a Switch Online account, you can just go get it and play it. So whatever, I suppose.
Nice.
Dead by Daylight is coming to Switch and looks unbelievably bad. This is kind of a theme between more of the third-party 3D games coming to the Switch, that they seem to be doing a poor job.
Although it's not like Dead by Daylight looked amazing to start.
No, I mean, it kind of looks like a bad game anyway, but the port job looks even worse. Deltarune, the follow-up to Undertale, is coming to Switch. Might already be on Switch, I can't remember. Daemon X Machina said that we're still in development, guys, but we're releasing a prototype mission demo for you to play for free right now. Let us know what you think. We'll help. We want it to help guide the development. Zach and I will talk a bit about that later. Grid Autosport, and then possibly, it's a contender for most unlikely port.
Why?
It's it's an old Codemasters game being put on Switch for some reason. It's just why? Just why?
Well, maybe they just thought they had an opening for a market of untapped potential. You've got Forza on the Xbox, you've got Gran Turismo on PlayStation, but there's no actual racing game on the Switch.
I mean, there isn't really.
No, fair enough. And that does make sense. It's this is an opportunity because there's some people who only have a Switch and they might want, for some reason, to have a realistic-ish racing game they can play on the toilet. So...
I mean, it had the problem of it being another one of these third-party 3D Switch reveals that looked like it had a terrible ass frame rate, though.
Well, sometimes it looked okay. Don't play it in split screen. That much is clear.
Yeah.
I mean, if you care about frame rate on your realistic racing games, you probably went and bought a PS4, didn't you, or an Xbox? So, yeah.
The one game that looked surprisingly good for a third-party port was Hellblade. So Ninja Theory's thing is being brought to Switch, and looked really good, actually. They've done a very good job at porting that across. Certain effects looked garbage, whatever effect they were using they replaced fire with during the scene that is pretty much all fire, looked kind of bad. But all of the performance capture seems solid still, which is obviously the important bit. So yeah, well done them. Apparently it's being done, that port is being done by the same team that did Dark Souls remaster thing. So they've got a little bit of goodwill behind them. What else we got? Mortal Kombat 11 will come to Switch. Unravel 2 will come to Switch. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
Now there's a bad frame rate.
Yeah, boy, that looked awful. Like, it's remastered, man. It's remastered to be worse. Somehow.
Assassin's Creed 3, which that was the American Revolution one, wasn't it?
Yeah, also Assassin's Creed 3. Like, again, why? Why not do 2? Or maybe even the first, to just remaster the first.
2 would make sense.
They didn't want to
the best
make
one.
any effort. That's the actual reason. They were like, what's the most recent Assassin's Creed that can run on the Switch without us having to do much work?
Yeah, and we can just call it remastered for some reason. It looks so bad. Just weird. Final Fantasy IX is now out on Switch.
Was that like the one that didn't have a release date before? Because I remember when they announced all like 7 and 9 and
10
12.
And 10 too.
Was it 12 that did? One of them didn't have a release date. I thought it was 9, but now this just come out abruptly.
Well, it didn't have a release date. It was 8. You bastards.
Yeah, but that doesn't count because that wasn't announced.
You bastards.
It couldn't have possibly had a release date.
You know, I've heard this a few times before, but like the reason that 8 doesn't get much love, apparently, like it's supposedly due to them losing the source code. Like apparently, the original source code for Final Fantasy 8 just doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, that's so weird. How does that happen?
Well, apparently they were all just on, back in the day, that like businesses just put it on a master disc somewhere, and then they get lost.
They didn't mention in the brief Final Fantasy segment. They didn't say anything about the Crystal Chronicles remake yet.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah,
they just 7 and 9, and that was it.
And then we got 2 interesting ones. So, how does a Platinum Games developed thing with the designer from Bayonetta on it sound? That's not Bayonetta 3.
It sounds like I want to know more.
Yeah. So,
would you like to know more?
I do. How about some Astral Chain? It's I mean, it's. I don't like the trailer. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a badly made trailer because it's a Japanese ass voices over stuff happening trailer, which I think a bad way. I think it's just bad. However, the premise is kind of interesting. Where you seem to be future cops, and but your battle style is you're not solo. You're sort of tag teaming with this spectral mech thing that is connected to you with a big glowing chain, and so you're kind of fighting as a pair rather than as one, and it looks, the fighting style looks weird. So color me interested. No one's got anything to say about that. Okay,
no. Really
and then finally, they're doing a Zelda remaster.
Okay.
But they've chosen Zelda Link's Awakening.
Oh yeah, the classic from the Game Boy, which I played, but I wasn't clever enough to get through. I don't think at the time. I must have had it alongside like Pokemon, and it was harder to say the least.
Pretty sure I finished it.
Yeah, you did. But you did
the DX version.
Yeah,
the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, you played that, and then you played like the Oracle of Ages and Seasons, like on emulator.
Or one.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you not play both of them?
I don't even remember. Those games are like Pokemon; they're basically exactly the same. So I don't remember whether I played one or both or either.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a cool idea to highlight that game again because, like,
I mean, I really like the style that they did. Like, they didn't take the
I don't think they needed to come up with yet another new style.
Maybe not, but
although I see what they were going for because it is basically just it's replicating the pixel art much more closely than any of their other recent versions.
They're being pretty faithful, but they've made it like cute Zelda. Is that the way to describe it? Like a bit more chibi.
It's a bit
that's
chibi,
like how the pixel art looks.
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's kind of a bit sort of Minish Cappy, but in 3D. Wouldn't you say that was a bit cutesy?
Well, maybe, but
Minish Cap was like proto Phantom Hourglass style.
Yeah, but they're all sort of like Toon Link-ish anyway. Aren't they? Those ones, sort of. Like, what was the last one? Link Between Worlds? It's sort of
that one's not so much
not
like
so
Toon
much,
Link.
yeah. That's more like Link
wasn't it?
to the Past, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's
I thought they were sort of cribbed from the same sort of style, but I haven't played in like any of them.
The Phantom Hourglass / Toon Link style has been used several times. You know, there was this freaking whatever that game was with Totem Time. I even forgot what that game was called with the 3 links that you stack up.
Oh,
Totem Time.
Triforce Adventures?
Probably something like that.
Oh, there was Four Swords as well.
Four Swords was Four Swords was like the previous version of that.
Yeah.
Which was also proto Toon Link style. Not quite fully there.
Wasn't Four Swords more like SNES styled? And then Triforce Heroes or whatever was
but like it was still what I would say was like proto Toon Link.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, Link's Awakening. I mean, it's an old game.
I think they should have done. I mean, I'm sure people like Link's Awakening better, but I think they should have. If we're talking about old Game Boy games, they probably should have just done Oracle of Ages or Seasons because that had some more interesting stuff in it.
They were cool, but they
Link's Awakening is like a bit of an old school, very classic Zelda.
It's very classic.
Is it very similar to the SNES one then? Is it?
Yeah, well, it's obviously not as advanced as like Link to the Past, but it's but it had a cool story because it was like a weird offshoot.
Because it was all a dream.
It was kind of like it was like the Majora's Mask of its day, kind of. It wasn't that.
Yeah,
dark,
I guess
it was like
it's like, do we have to like? I mean, I've already done it, but when they remake really old games like this, do we have to like turn off spoilers again?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because there'll be a lot of people who've never heard of this thing ever.
Yeah.
And won't know how the story goes.
I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Well, no, so, that's for a different reason.
Yeah.
You could have theoretically played it at the time it first came out. But there'll be several people who are like not even born when that game comes out.
I mean, I couldn't because I didn't have a Game Boy like at the time. The GBA was my first in.
No, well,
really?
I guess. Well, you could have played it on the GBA because it was a colour cart. You could have wedged it in there.
How did you avoid the Pokemon madness of 1998?
Well, I mean, I didn't. I was subjected to it all around me, but I watched it rather than take part in it.
Me and Dan told Rob about Pokemon.
Well,
let us show you Pokemon.
Lime green Game Boy Color.
I did play quite a chunk of both either red or blue, and then I played quite a chunk of either gold or silver. I didn't finish either of them, but I did play quite a bit of them, but not on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
It wasn't my copy of the game or anything like that. It was, so I never really got into it hugely. Probably why I've never played Pokemon properly ever. Just sort of because I wasn't grabbed from the start, I guess.
Right, yeah.
They were cool, but they were like, I don't know, I was playing FF7 and 8 at that point in time, and they were just that little bit too basic for me.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It wore thin.
If I'd call FF7 that more advanced than Pokemon.
It kind of is.
8 definitely is, but I don't know about 7.
Well, no. Well, admittedly, I didn't play all that much of 7 either. 8 was my 8 was my baby.
Yeah, 8's the jam.
8's the jam, and that was the direct.
Yeah,
cool.
So I don't know. A lot of things announced, really, but
Mario Maker exciting.
But not any of the ones we can.
Anyway, I want to play that.
And also, like speaking of, we previously discussed they already have delayed Metroid, so obviously that wasn't going to be there. But they also didn't mention Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
It's going to be out this year.
Right.
They didn't mention...
That'll get a proper...
Well, yeah, that would be probably the E3 direct.
Yeah, that'll get a big
one,
because I reckon Animal Crossing must be towards the end of the year.
Yeah, inevitably. And they also didn't mention... not that... Well, I say they didn't mention. I mean, they didn't. There was no reason for them to mention because they haven't been announced. But we haven't heard anything about like maybe a new Pikmin or anything like that. Like the last, we're looking for those last like Nintendo IPs that haven't been talked about at all yet.
F-Zero
and that one. Yes,
I mean Pikmin makes sense for the Switch.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been rumored, doesn't it, that there's another one in the works?
Yeah,
I want to play some Pikmin.
Vaguely, the most vague rumors.
What happened to Star Fox GP? the important bit.
Well, that was where there was that bit where they showed the race, like spaceship racing in Starlink, and it was like, oh, is that just has someone got confused in the rumors?
Yeah,
it's like that's what they were talking about all along.
Yeah, it's possible.
I love thinking back to that early GameCube period where they were like, we're going to do these like smaller, more like experimental games.
Yeah, they have. That's the other one they didn't mention. Now that you've reminded me, they didn't mention anything about Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. But what's happened was they did those two games, Pikmin and Luigi's Mansion, and they just became like one of the tentpole titles, and then they never did any more. So that they just both turned into series, like all the other ones.
Yeah. I've noticed that they've done a what do you call it? The ad campaign for new Super Mario Brothers U is in full force at the moment.
Deluxe.
Yeah. U Deluxe, whatever it's called. Yeah. There was a lot of ads for that at the cinema. I've been the last few couple of times.
No.
And they're showing it in the worst possible way to play that game, which is the 4-player family setting.
Yeah, but that's what you show.
That's what they're advertising.
So that's single player.
Yeah, that's Nintendo's brand, but no, it's the worst possible way to play that game.
I mean, not really. It's a perfectly fine way to play that game if you don't really care about getting
through it.
Well, you could get through it, but more like getting any of the actual, unlock, secret routes or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You're just going to bash your way through the levels.
Yeah, I mean, it is. To me, I think it's a genuinely good game, but I don't see the appeal in that style of multiplayer.
I don't think it's for us. Just go back to playing some Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey. Yes. More Nintendo news. Reggie Fils-Aimé is retiring.
Reggie's out.
Yeah, unfortunately. He'll be around for like a month or two, but it will be handed over mainly to his replacement, a certain Mr. Doug Bowser.
Indeed. There've been some
the jokes write themselves.
Stupid headlines.
Yep.
All over the internet.
I mean, it's great. I mean, we have seen him before. He's been about. He's done things.
They already had all these headlines happen one time before.
Yeah.
The first time everyone heard about this guy.
I think he seems like Reggie's little speech thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It was quite nice. I always love his because his style is like, I don't know, it's quite artificial. Like, it's clearly like very mannered. Every time he speaks, it's obviously like
it's scripted and prepared and refined.
It's a little bit robotic when Reggie speaks sometimes, but I think it's okay. But the end of that one was like so sweet. He's literally like, "Oh, it's been amazing. You're the best." It's like, "Oh, thanks, Reggie."
He comes across that way, and he clearly puts a lot of thought into what he says.
He does it really well.
But he's a legend. I think it doesn't come across as any of that stuff being written for him.
No.
It comes across as this is just how genuine, I present.
Yeah, it's just his style is a little bit like mannered. I think it's not that natural. It never has been, but he's super cool.
But he's an absolute legend. I've got all the time in the world for Reggie. Always have done. I don't think he's put a foot wrong for Nintendo.
No.
And it is a shame to see him go. The word retiring there is interesting. Is he that old? Because he's not leaving for bad health or anything like that.
No, he said he was in good health. But I mean, why not? I mean, if you can retire,
he must make mega bucks.
And you're rich.
I mean, when you're in Nintendo of America, you can get away with retiring when you're not in Japan.
Right? Yeah. In Japan, you work till you die.
Yep.
Apparently.
And you better like it.
Yeah. No, good on you, Reggie. You'll be missed.
Good luck to Bowser.
Yeah, good luck to Bowser. Take over the Mushroom Kingdom.
We'll see how his presenting style goes.
I have to admit,
assuming that he is going to be the one to take over that role.
I have to admit, the best one of those I've seen, of the Doug Bowser pictures, is I sincerely hope this was planned by him. As he's made a photo, he's holding a little placard up that says, "Sorry to see you go, Reggie," or something. And it's just, but in the background, there's two plushies of Mario and Luigi that are tied up.
I mean, of course it was planned.
All planned.
It's genius.
There's one today where he was helping a stuffed toy of Bowser Jr. put a Nintendo Labo kit together, like father and son.
I love it. In other news, sort of Nintendo related.
Yeah. And also sort of news.
Sort of news. This is
Back to the land of rumours.
This is a rumor that started floating that it's no secret at this point that Microsoft is going to be bringing some of Xbox Live to the Switch. Like Microsoft published games that get released on Switch, which is that's a thing they're doing.
What, like Minecraft?
Yeah. Okay. And achievements and all of that stuff's going to come with it.
Weird. Surprised Nintendo let them do that.
Well, it's just it's a platform within their game, right? It's like not.
Even so,
in some ways they can't stop them, but they're fine with it. But this next bit is the weirder bit. This new rumor floating about is that Microsoft want to bring Game Pass to the Switch.
Okay.
For whatever that means. I mean, I guess they'd have to release some more of those games on the Switch to then have them in the Game Pass.
I mean, what if they put Cuphead on Switch, right? And a Microsoft published game.
How are they going to have enough
put
titles?
That there?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the complete library for sure, obviously, because there would have to be stuff that had been ported to Switch in the same way that there's the disparity between Windows and Xbox on Game Pass. But as long as Ninty gets their cut, do Ninty care? Maybe they don't.
I mean, the weirder thing would be if Microsoft start putting out more of their own actual games. Like, if it's third-party stuff that was also on Game Pass, that would still make sense. But if Microsoft are releasing their literal games on not the Xbox...
Well, yeah, that was what was the rumor that was going around. Is like, does this mean Halo is going to come to Switch?
Can I play Halo 3 on my Switch, please?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
And probably completely doable.
Yeah.
And, finally, Banjo-Kazooie can come back to a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
By the most roundabout route possible.
Nuts and bolts Switch edition.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Perfect Dark Zero.
Okay, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Take it back.
No, you just want yet another re-release of the original. Bring back the Fist Sim.
Yeah, bring back Fist Sim. That's a weird one. I'm not sure that holds water just yet, but we'll see.
Well,
I think
we'll
possible.
have to see about the games being released before they can make a Game Pass, basically.
I think it's possible, but I also think it's bold. I mean, we've seen similar stuff on a Microsoft platform before, like Origin, whatever it's called, EA Access on Xbox.
Yeah,
is a kind of weird thing.
I mean, the thing that would be kind of, well, not most weird, but definitely weird about it, bringing the Microsoft stuff on the Switch would be, bringing the whole achievements and all that stuff. It's just basically Microsoft being like, Nintendo, your online service is so bad, we're going to bring our online service and put it within your one, just because our one has better features.
I mean, you might not get the full party line, but it depends how they do it. Like, if the game actually has its own systems in there, so you can get a party panel or something.
Yeah. Some kind of join mechanism for making parties.
Yeah, clearly won't have voice commands, but
no.
Or voice chat. I mean, sorry, but I mean, it's not too far fetched, and they could let games perhaps add that stuff if they want. The whole Xbox Live stuff. It's like, yeah, if you want in, just embed our SDK or whatever in your app, and there you go, have it.
That could definitely be weird.
It's really odd, yeah. But then in some ways, is that any different from having to log into your Epic account to play Fortnite?
Well, maybe. I mean, it wouldn't have been until the Epic account became more than just the Fortnite account, I guess. Once you actually have... That is more like the EA one at that point, once you've got more than one thing attached to it.
And that's kind of it. Oh well, we don't really know a lot about this exactly, or at least I don't. I've not read it up completely. But Activision fired 800 guys.
Yep.
Or people. If you're one of those people that reads guys as a male term.
We'll get back to that topic again.
Yeah. which is a lot of people.
If the only reason this was really a story, apart from, layoffs are always a story, I guess, because that's just how news works on the internet. But like, the main thing about it that made everyone pay more attention was that like they were like, we made shit tons of money this year, and now we're getting rid of all these people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's it. Sounds like they are doing a business scale down because they don't expect this year to be as good because they're just not releasing as much this year. I mean, they're publishing Sekiro, but that's like probably the only bit of non-Activision development that they're publishing. I mean, they haven't got Spyro this year. They'll probably have another Call of Duty this year,
presumably.
But I don't think Blizzard are planning to put anything out this year other than that Diablo mobile game.
Yes.
Or maybe
and that's not even
maybe the
World
of and maybe the Warcraft 3 remake. But yeah, it sounds like they're just scaling down because they're not expecting, which is an investor happy move. So what? Yeah, not great for those involved though. Obviously, we don't really know which studios. Like, I haven't looked at whether it was like just a specific studio or whether it's just a general certain percentage we need across the entire company kind of deal. And also, that guy that played Carlton in The Fresh Prince, he apparently does not own the Carlton dance.
Well, there we are.
So Fortnite can still have it.
According to which court?
I don't know.
I don't
know. Expect me to get these details.
Probably California. That seems like the place where you'd go to try and win that case.
Dance capital of the world. California? I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything that's true.
No. The canals?
You stole it from me.
Yep.
You stole it. You're taking it back.
I stuck it there before you could.
Yep.
Because that's the end of the news.
No more weird rumours?
Well, there was that tiny extra rumour that, like, the idea that you might shove your Switch into a cardboard headpiece and use it for VR. That rumour has resurfaced again.
Okay.
Because it was originally a vague patent that turned up around the Switch's launch. And everyone was like, oh, that would be a thing you could do, I guess, but then it never happened.
And it could tie into Labo.
But yeah, but now they've got the Labo brand, and it's like, well, I guess that rumour is back. So yeah, that could happen. It would make a vague amount of sense.
Nearly a whole year after Labo first launched.
Well, they need to do something with it, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that second set, I guess.
Pack 3.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we briefly talk about the obviousness of what's clearly happened with Anthem?
What? And that
it's bad.
That it's come out and it's mediocre. And it's a mediocre Destiny clone, as it always looked like.
Yeah, it's one of those things that reading around the internet, it seems like some people are quite big on it. Well, like, that does exist. There is a fandom. But something, and I've seen some people come away who played the demo being like, yeah, the demo's not representative of the actual game, for better and worse.
That's not good. Oh, right, okay.
Like in the that they've refined some things since the demo for better, but some people don't like where it goes. That like the demo is like all there is kind of thing. Like the game plays all like that. And it's like, oh well. I had to those technical issues, as I say. Apparently, the loading times are atrocious across the board. It wasn't just my PC.
Oh god!
Apparently that is a serious issue.
And like loading where it can't even sort of manage the loading within a sort of even the short distance.
The stream loading problem.
Well, not even the stream loading, but like when because you're matching into a mission and that mission might already be in progress. If your teammates move too far away from you, it teleports you to them. But that's a load screen, not like a. It has to reload. It's not just moving you in the environment.
That's the problem I had during the demo. That if someone got to that point and they moved it on, they would load faster than I would. So by the time I would load into a stage, some of the story had happened before I got there.
Yeah,
and it's like that's kind of pretty bad.
And there was speaking of joining games, there was supposedly the hilarious incident that was captured on video where a random player matched into the final boss fight. A random level 3 player who literally only just started playing the game matched into the final boss fight.
How does that happen?
Who knows?
Like, you actually have to pick what you're doing before you matchmake with people. It's like, I want to matchmake into this mission.
Not really. You pick a kind of thing that you're doing, not really the specific mission, I don't think.
In the demo, you picked the mission.
Yeah, I think that might be slightly more... Or there might be, like, that as well. Like, here's the less specific option if you just want to get in.
Oh, yeah, there was a quick play button as well.
That might have been what happened. The quick play might have just put them into the last mission, which is hilarious and dumb.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty bad. We're going to be hearing about Anthem for a while, though.
I don't know if we are.
You reckon? Like, you don't reckon they're going to live service the hell out of this?
Well, they're going to try, but I don't think anyone's going to care.
They never invested too much to just drop it. They're going to do a Ubisoft. I hope they do a Ubisoft on it, and like.
I don't think they'll do a Ubisoft. They might.
Well, I mean, the standard joke is like, okay, how do they turn it into a free-to-play battle royale game now?
Well,
there's got to be a way.
I mean, the free-to-play part is definitely possible.
The problem is there's no real like stealth and sneakiness when you're Iron Man flying about.
No.
Unless they build really complex canyons everywhere. It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, the whole game seems to just be canyons.
I don't know. There's something to Anthem. There is, like, having played the demo, but it's not as... I don't think it's quite what anyone really wanted. Or overall, that's the feeling. Much like Crackdown 3.
Hey.
Which apparently is Crackdown 1. With Terry Crews.
In what sense? Like, it's just basically a remake?
A game that hasn't advanced in many years since.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as Crackdown 1, as far as I can tell. It is on Game Pass, and my Game Pass has expired now. So
Rob can't be tempted to play it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Game Pass is currently like doing one of its like £1 for a month.
No, God damn it!
That I for some reason have access to, even though it's normally for people that haven't had Game Pass before. But it's turning up on my account, being like, "Yeah, you can get this," and I'm like, well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll see what the crack is about Crackdown 3.
What's the crack?
What's the crack? Gaping and full of debris.
Only emotion.
Only not. Yeah.
Okay, it's time for what you've been playing.
Probably.
What you've been playing? I don't know, Zeg. What have you been playing?
Yeah. Well, luckily I haven't been playing much that I have to talk about much. Not that ever stops me, you know.
Settle in, boys.
Yep.
Settle in.
I played a few random bits of things again. It's been another one of those. Well, not really. One of the weeks has been like that. I went back and played like a couple of rounds of Crypt of the Necrodancer because I was.
Oh, really?
Because I was having a period where I was listening to bits of music, and like the music files in that game are just like, well, I don't know if they're MP3s or OGs, but they're there. You can just play them,
right?
But that's not very helpful because they're like it's just every level has like fucking 5 different versions of that music because there's like all those different soundtracks built into the game.
Yeah.
And there's the like stage 3 where it has 2 different mixes of the same track that it crossfades between when you're in the game.
Oh yeah.
Which is really cool, but it's like that's not very good to just listen to individually. So that just appetized me to actually play the game. I was like, I'll just go in and listen to these songs in the actual context. And also because, you know, that's how you play that game. It's all about matching the rhythm of the song.
And being terrible at it. I never did get the vibe for that game.
We should totally make a video of us playing that in co-op.
Yeah,
I bet that's fucking impossible.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
But yeah, I played a little bit of that. I realised that I've never actually completed the game in one go. Like, I've beaten the last boss, but only from stage 4. because you can start at any one of the 4 stages. And I remembered beating the boss. I was like, I don't remember. And then I looked, because it stores all your replays. It stores a replay of every run as far as I can tell. And I was looking through it. I was like, where was the one where I beat the last boss? And then I realized, it's one of the ones where I started in level 4. Like, I've never actually done it in one run, because it's actually much harder to do it in one run. Because the individual stages, you start with like twice as much starting health. And once you've unlocked it, there's a special merchant where you can choose what starting equipment you have, even if you're starting in one of the later levels.
Oh, interesting.
It's basically, because you remember how you get the diamonds and that unlocks stuff for the random pool.
Yeah.
Once you've got all of those, you use the diamonds to buy starting equipment for the individual level runs instead.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can basically sort of configure your...
I mean, I didn't get anywhere near that.
No.
I think I might have struggled on zone... Oh, no, I think I got past zone 2, once.
Yeah, and then zone 3 is hard.
That game is ridiculously difficult anyway.
Yes. But yeah.
One of those tracks from the first zone does turn up in Amplitude, which is kind of cool.
Yes. But yeah, I had to... Mainly, I actually just, on this time when I played it, I mainly just played Zone 3 because it's the one with the crossfading, and I was like, I want to hear that again.
How do they do in the soundtrack? How do they deal with the shopkeeper?
I don't know.
Is he not in it? Or?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that file that presumably just overlays on top of the other music, I guess.
Shopkeeper's cool.
I didn't actually look that much. I was just like, there's the level music. That's all I need to. Those are the only files I need to know about. I don't actually have the actual OST, which you could buy individually on Steam.
Oh, right.
I just have the files.
I assumed you had the files because they were exposed because you had the OST version.
Apparently not.
Weird. So why would you buy the OST? Okay. Yeah.
Well, presumably the OST has...
MP3s.
Well, and maybe it has, with the stage 3 mix, it has a crossfaded mix, maybe?
Oh, well, there might be... Yeah.
Put them both in one file.
Slightly friendlier version.
Or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Or, files which have proper tagging. And are not just raw music tracks with just generic level names.
1-1.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always tempted to switch the soundtrack, but I feel like I haven't earned it.
Right.
Because the different
once, you can switch now.
Well, the different soundtracks are meant to be tied to the other characters. That's kind of why they're there. And I'm like, I did try one time. I tried playing one of the other characters, but it's already, as we said, that game is difficult. Playing it with one of the other characters doesn't make it any easier, apart from the Bard, I guess. But then you're not. If you're playing as Bard, are you even really playing that game? Because the Bard is the one where you don't have to stick to the rhythm.
Right. Yeah. It waits for you.
Yeah, it just becomes a turn-based movement system.
That could be a good way to learn it, though.
I guess, kind of.
Learn the patterns. I might need that.
But that's why you have the training rooms, if you want to learn patterns.
I can't remember them in the heat of the moment is my problem.
No, that's the trick of that game.
Do the exact wrong thing.
So there's that. In bringing back the classic section of games I haven't played, but I need to briefly talk about.
Things that are on your mind. What's on your mind, Sam? What's on your mind?
There was another patch for Oxygen Not Included. They've done the second quality of life patch has finally come out because it's been quite a long time. Because they broke their schedule over Christmas. Well, they broke their schedule over Christmas and then some because apparently pretty much their whole development staff got ill over Christmas. Right. So they had to take a little extended break after that as well. But the second quality of life patch has arrived. I haven't been in there to actually play it yet, but it sounds like it's one of those things that, well, I mean, apart from the actual quality of life stuff where it's just like, bug fixes and polish. One of the things that they added was they made it so that your printer pods, the thing that your dudes spawn out of at the start of the game and how you get more dudes, though that can now print items as well. So you can get just like random extra resources out of it, which is sort of a nice idea. And it also means that, because generally the way you play that game is you have a population that is sort of scaled to your resource availability. So you know how much oxygen you're making. So you're like, that much oxygen can support this many guys. So I'm never going to have more than that because why would I? Because that would just be suicide. So that kind of made you never print new dudes, and so the printing pod just kind of sits there for a long time, not really doing anything. And it like, if you're printing guys, it's on like a 3-day schedule. You can print a new dude every 3 days, but you'd have like hundreds of days where you just would never print anyone. So it would just sit there not doing anything. So now every 3 days you could print something that's not a guy. You could just get like random bonus resources, which is like, that's kind of nice. And it gives you a reason to have the printing pod there, but also doesn't that like make it a lot easier? Or somewhat easier. I don't know about a lot. We'll see.
Depends what you can print.
Well, yeah, I've seen the list of like stuff you can print, and like some of it is kind of high level. Like you can just get a bunch of steel, and steel isn't exactly easy to come by, and it has definitely some uses, mainly for the temperature resistance. It's easily the like easiest accessible high temperature material, I guess. But the fact that you could theoretically get it even earlier than you could naturally from playing the game, maybe. Although I think they made it so some of the stuff that the pod can print you only get after you've made it in the game or found it in the game. So you would probably have to get to the point of being able to make steel, and then the printing pod would be able to make it as well. So that's maybe kind of balanced. But the one that I was more thinking about in terms of how it might mess with the balance quite severely is the printing pod can supposedly print wheezewort seeds, the plant that absorbs heat.
Wheezewort.
And the heat management is like the major thing that is like the mid-game challenge. So the fact that you can theoretically print more of these wheezewort seeds, because normally you're limited to exactly how many spawn on the map, and there's never going to be any more than that until you launch rockets to space, and then you can get some more that way. So like the fact that the printing pod can now theoretically make them, so you effectively, in the extremely long term, have infinite wheezeworts without even having to launch rockets. That seems like that might be more of a balance thing that might make it quite a lot easier, theoretically. Because heat management is the main problem. So we'll see. I might go back in there and start a new game, I guess.
Fair enough.
Also, like in this patch, they supposedly did quite a lot of work to like AI pathfinding and stuff that might make it run better in the long term.
Okay, sure.
Late game situations.
You get a bit with bigger space.
Yeah, so everything might run better for longer. It's the old classic problem of those kinds of games like Dwarf Fortress or whatever. It's like you can play it for a long time, but then you gradually start losing frame rate as the calculations start taking longer and longer.
They get bigger and bigger and bigger.
So yeah, we'll see about that. I played a small amount of Smash Bros. Because I'm still grinding through getting everyone through classic mode.
Alright, I'm still grinding World of Light.
Did you go through Galeem yet?
No.
Oh, you're still grinding the other spirits.
Oh, I've got past
cleaning them up.
The shield's not gone down yet.
Oh, has that? I thought you said it had.
It's in the red flashy zone.
Oh, you've got one more boss to do.
Yeah, and well, I'm in the bit where Rathalos is hanging out.
Oh, you're in that. I'm special map.
I'm past the yellow Zappy zone.
You're in that special map.
Yes,
where Rathalos is in.
Yeah, he's just hanging.
And you have to do the thing to monster hunt him.
Yeah, but I haven't done the thing. I don't know what the thing is. Because if I go up to him, he just runs off.
Yes, that's the trick.
So I don't know what the thing is.
Well, you have to herd him like Monster Hunter.
I don't know. I don't play Monster Hunter. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yes.
That's where I am right now.
That's kind of weird if you have to actually know the games in order to play.
Well, I mean, I would say you have to know it that much. You might be able, you could probably just logically figure it out eventually.
Like a hint,
I mean, I only just unlocked the guy that was there.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I've done all the actual spirit fights there now, and it's just like, all right, what do I do? So I just hadn't actually got to the point where I was trying to figure out what to do with Rathalos.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm still continuing to chip away. I'm on like the last row and a half, I guess. So I've probably got like 15 more characters to go, maybe.
Okay, jeez. It's a lot of Smash.
And I've been doing progressively worse as predicted, as I've got to all the characters that I'm less familiar with. Although even the ones that are like Little Mac or Rosalina, and I was like, I shouldn't be this bad, but apparently I am. Although Little Mac is you fall off once and you're fucked. As we well know, Little Mac has a terrible fucking recovery.
I can't remember what it was, but I was playing some Spirit Fights because that's all I do in that game. I'm sure I came across like a couple of levels that I knew were in the list, but I don't think I've ever played while we've been playing Smash. Like, they've just never come up, and it's just like, oh yeah, this level's in there.
Well, there are 103 of them. So
this is what happens when there's most Smash.
Yeah.
And, some of the fact that, there are Mega and Battlefield versions of them all, like, things I never saw in the Wii U version, because, we'd never turn that on. Because it would be nice if you could, like, when you're doing the random stage selection, you can pick, like, certain ones to have an Omega or Battlefield version, like, added to your random
as well
list.
As the random, yes.
Yeah, that would be, like, I don't know, because then you could make the ridiculously big cave thing the horrible Kirby level.
The cave offensive.
Yeah. It's
very offensive.
Yeah. You could just make have a Battlefield version of it and still get the theme.
Is that theme really worth it, though?
I know, but it'd be nice to bring some of those in. Some of them are, the like awful levels that I don't want to play. But I wouldn't mind just having a different skin on and the music, maybe.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. Well, even the music doesn't matter that much any longer, though, does it? Because it's only tied to series now. So any Kirby stage could have the same music.
Yeah. But, well, you know what I mean. Just,
yeah.
But as another variant, would be interesting to add to the mix.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what stage it was now. But it's just mildly baffling to me that I've put this many hours in. It's like, oh, I haven't seen that before.
Well, I feel like because you've mainly been playing World of Light, like I feel like they don't do a very good job of using all the content in World of Light. Like I feel like there was a lot of the same stages, like too frequently.
I mean, it's interesting that they can use the levels that move, for instance, like the Wii Sports Resort one.
They could use individual parts of it, like the bridge and then like the water ski
start
thing.
Point, and the epic volcano fight.
Yeah,
they can use bits of it to represent what they're trying to represent, which is a cool idea.
Yeah, that definitely helped. But
yeah,
I feel like there was a lot of stuff in there where it was like the Street Fighter level over and over.
I haven't really had that.
Well, I mean, there's the whole Street Fighter section obviously is on the Street Fighter level. So
was it? I thought they mixed it up.
Not really.
I don't remember it just being all on.
They used the Battlefield version of it.
I don't remember.
So the Street Fighter themed Battlefield stage or Final Destination.
I thought they mixed up a bit, but maybe not.
But yeah, getting through it, nearly done. Buying the last remaining spirits that come up in the shop occasionally. And I've given up going through in just pure left to right order now. Now that if a fighter spirit appears in the shop, but it's one of the ones I haven't completed, I just go do that so it will clear it out of the shop so a new one can spawn.
Right.
Try and speed up that process slightly. I don't think I'm missing many of the only purchase ones now. Like, well, apart from all the fucking Koopa Kids. Well, all but one of the Koopa Kids. I think I've got one of them, so I've got like 6 more of them that have to spawn in the shop.
Still getting music in the shop. I've got a lucky drop in the shop where basically every one of the panels was filled with music, and it's like, all right, I'm having it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm having it.
So there's that. More or less getting close to being done, except not really.
You're never done.
Still quite a lot more. And then version 3 will come out.
Hopefully. Whatever that is.
Also, in things I haven't been playing, I keep thinking about going to play Dirt Rally before Dirt Rally 2 comes out.
Right,
because I need the direct comparison.
Yep.
See which physics is better.
Reviews for that are starting to surface as well.
Yes. It's nearly out.
Positive reviews.
Like 3 more days.
Positive, but the same as Dirt Rally 1 style reviews.
Yes.
But
is it going to run fine on your PC then? I presume it will. So
I mean, Dirt Rally 1 was like not even much of a graphical stress.
No,
really.
It wasn't.
No, but they have improved the graphics in this one.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
And I don't remember exactly how well Dirt 4 ran. I definitely had to turn down some stuff in that. But probably won't be too bad.
No, I imagine it'll be
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And hopefully the Sidewinder will still work.
Yeah.
Assuming that they've just brought back the same after they did all that work to get all those wheels working that they did in Death Rally.
I imagine they keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they won't be rewriting that anytime soon.
Yeah.
The Sidewinder sleeps tonight.
There's that.
Never upgrade your PC. Never go to Windows 10.
Well, I'm not intending to on this PC.
Yeah.
If I get a new PC, maybe Windows 10.
That will kill your Sidewinder.
Or will it?
Well, yeah, maybe
we never can tell.
Maybe I'm just incredibly unlucky because that seems to be the only difference between yours and mine, right? It's like as soon as I went to Windows 10, everything went awry.
Yep. It's a mystery.
Those old Sidewinder wheels.
And Why can't they just make new ones? Come on, Microsoft. You make cool hardware. You always did.
Well, Microsoft seem to be having an increasingly bad track record at supporting their old stuff.
That's true.
My personal gripe, they've broken the Strava integration on my Microsoft Band, so that's now no longer uploading my runs to Strava, which is irritating.
Poop.
Yeah, so I haven't done that for a long time. But it's been unsupported for a while anyway. But now I assume Strava changed something, and Microsoft didn't, because it's unsupported and no one's working on it. They didn't update their service to match it. Like Booty, support your stuff.
And then, I guess before let me first talk briefly about. I went back to Factorio. Talk very briefly about that.
Look like you've been playing a ton of that again.
Well, I mean, about as much as I do when I'm playing it. But I've just been mainly looking at the mods again, seeing what's up. I kind of didn't want to start a proper new game. Well, I mean, because I've still got that fucking C Block game that I maybe want to finish, but that's been getting increasingly bogged down. Just also the game's just starting to run worse in that save because it's got so big. But the trouble is that it sounds as though 0.17 is going to come out probably next week at last, because it's been quite a while since 0.16 became stable. And I mean, the trouble with that, I was like, I kind of don't want to start any new games because 0.17 is coming out, but that will also mean that none of the mods will be available for at least a couple more weeks probably after that anyway, because they'll all have to update. So I was kind of I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'll just continue playing that C Block game, I guess. Even though that's becoming I'm probably not going to finish that before 17 comes out and C Block gets updated to 17, and then I can play that C Block in 17 instead.
From scratch again?
Probably. Who knows? Depends on how much has changed. But it sounds like 17 is going to be a fairly significant, even though again, 17 took so long to come out that they were we just need to put this out and we're going to push some of the stuff that would have been in 17 to 18. So actual full release still might not even be 18 at this point. Who knows if it'll even come out this year? It looked like it was gonna, but maybe not. But even despite that, 17 seems like it's got some significant changes. At
the risk of ruining this recurring segment, I hope I speak for more than just me with some of these delays resulting in me going,
Well, I think, well, I was about to say, I think it's doing better than Space Engineers, but actually Space Engineers might actually come out, within the next 1 or 2 patches.
Some of Zach's list is clearing again.
Yeah. I haven't played Space Engineers for ages. Apparently that's had some fairly significant overhauls, mainly in graphics though, so
yeah, right.
Not actually in gameplay, although they did supposedly try and do something to rebalance survival mode, which was the only thing that I was interested in, because I wasn't really interested in creative. So I haven't seen what they've done to that, but the time to go back to that may be approaching. But yeah, the 17 in Factorio may be slightly more interesting and potentially run better. They're doing another pass on fluid physics, which is always the problem with Factorio. The belt physics has long been easily the most detailed thing. It functions how you'd expect things on a belt to function, which is kind of surprising in how precise it is. It's all these things on a belt are being modeled in quite an advanced way, considering what it looks like. It's just like, here's the icons in a belt, but they're all very precisely synced, and it works in multiplayer and all that stuff. There's no desyncs. Every item is exactly where you expect it to be, that kind of thing. But the fluid model has always been kind of shitty and doesn't really act like you'd expect liquids to act in a pipe, mainly. It's the biggest problem with it had always been junctions, where it had preferential junctions, basically. Like the order you'd place the pipes would determine which direction the liquid flowed preferentially, rather than it evenly spreading.
Oh, weird.
Because it was doing next in line calculations or whatever. It wasn't. So when it was going through whatever update it was doing to the pipes, it was just doing them in the order the pipes had been placed, rather than actually looking at what was adjacent to them or anything.
Gotcha.
Because it's really the way it works is it's a fluid box. Like each individual pipe segment has a certain amount of fluid, and it just evens them out between the adjacent fluid boxes on the update.
Mm-hmm.
So the order of the updates mattered, and that was why it would do that preferential junction thing. But supposedly they may be fixing that. Although I don't know if that got pushed to 18, because they said the new algorithm for the fluids got pushed to 18, but some of the fluid updates didn't. So I don't know which parts made it and which didn't. We'll see. And also, another thing that I care about a lot more in 17 is new map generation. Holy crap, they might have made the map generation less terrible. Although, procedural map generation is always going to be terrible to some extent.
Yeah, well, you play C blocks, you don't care. There's no map.
Well, I'd like to play a regular map too. I'd like to play a regular map if it worked better. That's always, because every time I've tried to start a game in like 0.16's regular map gen, I spend like 15 fucking minutes just regenerating the map until it actually makes a map that's functional. It's like,
don't you want the challenge?
Well, there's a challenge, but they're like literally impossible. The main problem is which is one of the things that they've definitely fixed, is like the way it spawned resources in the starting area didn't always guarantee that you had all the resources.
Right.
It was like it could overwrite coal with water or overwrite coal with one of the other ores, and then you'd be fucked because you kind of need coal to be able to function at all. So yeah, that's definitely been fixed. The starting area is much more like very specified, where it's like it guarantees that there's this much of this and this much of this based on your settings. But then in the world, supposedly they've maybe made it so that water doesn't overwrite ore as badly as it used to, and other changes like that, and just generally made the map generation a bit more logical. Like deserts happen further away from water and that kind of stuff. So it might just be nicer. Oh, and they fixed the cliffs to make them a bit more logical as well. Because it tried to make the cliffs based on a height map, except the height map didn't really work. You either had far too many cliffs or no cliffs. So hopefully that will be better as well. And then I can just play a regular game with fancy new graphics as the main, bulk of this update. They're still going through the HD graphic update.
High-res update, yeah.
Maybe the enemies got done this time. Seeing the enemies look a bit more. Although I don't really like the new designs of the biters, because they used to be the kind of like sort of Pillbug-esque, sort of like that alien carapace action. But now
fetid carapace.
Yeah, possibly fetid. But now they have like these giant spindly legs that stick out the side, so they look real spindly, and I don't really like that as much. It's like it's the same carapace shape, but with these giant sticky out legs. Not sure I like it, but we'll see what it looks like when it's actually like in the game. It's hard to tell from just screenshots or the occasional GIF. Even that doesn't necessarily give you a great idea of what it will look like. So yeah, there's that. Factorio. I'll play that forever.
No.
It's your job.
Apparently.
Oh, and Rocket League is always happening.
Oh, Rocket League always happens.
The season finished at last,
and they launched cross-platform parties.
Yes, after all these years,
they still haven't done the merge account thing, which is what we really want them to do. But
which may not ever happen.
May not ever happen. It's not what. Yeah, given that the Rocket ID seems to be just an identifier at this point, not actually an account.
No.
And that's sorry, Mike. That's a. Yeah, maybe I've misunderstood what they meant by Rocket ID all along, which is a little disappointing. But yeah, I really want them to do like account merging so I could have a PlayStation 4 version that has all my stuff. Or
and then this most recent patch, they fucked up the audio.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you made it out to be when we actually played it. And I mean, I was playing it with headphones on, so maybe there's some surround sound stuff that's not right. But yeah, there's the odd glitch, like sounds playing way too loud or non-positionally, or the weird engine that happens when it blacks out to load, which is fine. I don't mind that one. But yeah, the balance seems a little off.
Yeah, they tried to put position audio in and it just didn't work very well.
Yeah, well, I don't mind it sounding different. I'm not. If they're going to rework the audio to do something, that's fine as long as it sounds good. But I'm not convinced that it's better at this point.
And it's very clear that they've definitely fucked up the position audio where, like, if you get demoed, your engine then sounds different. Because it's like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, that is strange.
You respawn and it just sounds different.
Well, how the volume levels seem odd. You noticed when you were idling, your engine was crazy loud.
Yeah, one of the types of engine had a real loud idle and an almost silent actually engine noise.
Yeah, it's very strange.
So yeah, hopefully they'll fix that.
Needs some work, but it's interesting to see them do like core technical changes like this.
It's interesting in some ways, but like every time they've done something like this, they fucked it up in some way. Like every time they've tried to fix the physics, they've still managed to make bugs that then require a patch.
I wonder if they'll ever do like a significant graphics pass.
But they already did where they remade the car models the first time round.
Oh, did they do that? I never noticed.
Yeah, you wouldn't have even remembered that happened. That was like ages ago though, when they didn't update all of the cars. They were doing like one at a time.
Oh, right.
Like they never updated the Merc, the car that I care about.
Keep it as a box.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I meant like not.
And they've
got too many like stuff right to do a full graphics pass now.
They did do one update that did like a better lighting and stuff thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that. Yeah, they added some, some slightly better bloom and things.
Yeah.
I mean, but that game's like anti-aliasing has always sucked. Like, it would be nice for them to like put a better pass on that, add some TXAA or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Or, do a deal with NVIDIA and get them to implement DLSS.
And then the last thing that I need to talk about is conveniently the segue into Roll, which we can talk about that Daemon X Machina.
Daemon X Machina, yeah. So the prototype mission demo turned up on Switch for free. And given that I had a vague passing interest in it because it has a bit, it's mecha fights with some stark color style and metal
and a not Nintendo-esque style.
Yeah,
that was the main thing, of course. That was why we initially paid attention to it at all.
Is this on
Switch? It was like, this is weird.
This is a Switch exclusive,
and it's like a mech battle shooter thing. Do you say?
Kinda, yeah. But it's just more. There was some styling about it that made it stand out a bit. So it's like, well, maybe this is worth checking out. And I think Zach and I differ a little bit on our takeaways from it.
Marginally.
Having now played the thing, I think it sucks.
Okay.
Like,
that's sad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the gameplay is super boring. I think it looks ugly in motion. The frame rate is bad. And the setting, which may or may not be hampered by it being a demo and it may not be sequential or something like that, it's just nonsensical, and the things they talk about are just badly written and not terribly acted. I'll give them. I won't go that far, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to take away from it being particularly positive. It's like the in-level music, despite being metal, is just not really noticeable. It's not cool enough. The music in the actual lobby is awful.
Oh dear.
It's nice that to build a character, you can be female or male, and they've got the surgery aspect, which is kind of weird.
Well, kind of like, it seemed kind of a bit much, unless that's just because it's the demo.
Yeah.
Because, like, you go through the character creator and you're like, I'm going to go make this guy, and then you immediately cut off all their limbs. Because that's like all the upgrades are just like, we've mechanized your arm.
I didn't get that far in the tree. I didn't bother too much with that stuff. I changed my eyes so they glow.
Well, yeah, that's like literally the first thing. You go through the character creator, you're like, I'm going to pick this guy's eyes, the shape of the eyes, and the color of the eyes, and then they immediately get surgically replaced by robot eyes.
So I don't know if this is like something, but like, I don't know, there's a certain, like, most anime body types, right? They fit very interesting stereotypes. Like, I made a lady character, and it was interesting to see that, like, I don't know, she didn't have a stereotypical anime build, the way she looked and the way she held herself. It's like I don't know, that's good to see. A bit of variety for once.
Well, like, I feel like they had
you couldn't change your build, or you have a build.
Well, I think they probably are kind of limited by that character having to be an actual character as well.
Yeah, maybe
it's not just like a avatar. It's a thing that exists in the game, and it has to be able to do certain things because you can get out of the mech.
Yeah, sure, but even then, you're just like the way the proportions of her body and things like that. That's what I mean. Sort of not just that she doesn't look like your stereotypical like anime character, and it's kind of.
Well, I wouldn't have said this game is that anime, really.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty anime. Those text cutscenes or anything to go by. I don't know. When you're actually flying around, as well, as I say, the frame rate and it was super grainy looking, and as I say, frame rate was awful. Like sub 30 most of the time. It felt like not really consistent. But then when you're actually I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But all I could really figure out is you fly around, make an enemy come into view. So your giant auto-aim cursor shoots at it, hold down right trigger, and sit there for a bit until it dies. It's like, it didn't feel like there was really much of a strategy to it. It's like, you could boost around and
I feel like
put your shield up if you really want to.
I feel like that might also be a problem with the demo. Just like, they don't give you any weapons to play with. They give you the most generic, machine gun.
Yeah, gun that shoots at thing, and some lock-on missiles that, do the missiles spread out and then hit the target thing. But it's...
The main problem I had was, you just don't get any ammo.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're trying to make you use the melee weapons, because that's the other part of the game.
Which I didn't get any of.
You should have maybe found one on one of the enemy corpses in, the library defense mission. Yeah. I think that was where I found one.
I think I found another arm cannon, an anti-tank arm cannon, and maybe a different head.
Well, yeah, I found a few parts, but I also found, a sidearm.
I didn't find that.
I initially thought that would solve my ammo problem, because I was if I bring the rifle and the sidearm, then I'll have effectively twice as much ammo, right? And I still ran out.
So how do the pylons on your mecha work?
That's where you just put things. That's where your secondary equipment goes.
So how did you switch to them?
With the D-pad.
I did not know that.
Well, it wouldn't have told you that. I don't know if it ever tells you that. There is a thing that looks like those tutorial messages in the help file, which tells you about the pylons, but I don't think that ever pops up naturally.
Son of a bitch.
But I mean, you could have just figured that out, right? Because that's what, in the equipment menu, you're like, I can equip other weapons to my pylons.
I didn't even think about the D-pad.
Well, I mean, there's only so many buttons, and your trouble is you're using most of the other buttons all the time, which is also another maybe a problem with that game. There's too many controls that you have to be pushing at once. Where you're trying to fly and fire and maneuver your lock on and boost.
Can you make your lock on? How are you doing that?
Well, you just
look at things.
Yeah, but that is another control you're doing with the right stick.
Yeah,
where you're not being able to push, boost, and aim essentially. Too many. I mean, it does have unlike a lot of Nintendo, well, not that this is technically Nintendo, I guess, but unlike a lot of other games on Nintendo systems, it does actually let you fully rebind your controls.
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, but I didn't even look at that page. No. So,
but yeah, that's what the pylons are for. That's where the other weapons go. Get rid of that shield because it seems to be completely pointless.
I mean, I was using it during the last mission, I think, in that demo where, you get the actual other enemy arsenals to fight against.
Yeah.
And, I was just holding it up and it's like, you can't hurt me until the shield explodes. Yeah. And it's like, okay, great.
Really, it's just like another health bar that stacks on top of your regular health bar. And I never even attempted to do anything with the pilot.
I don't even really know how you... Yeah, I didn't even know how to get out of the mag.
You have to land and then you just hold down a button.
Yeah, why would I do that?
Yes. Apparently it's viable, supposedly, people have said.
Is it like if your Arsenal gets exploded, you end up in that state or something? As well?
No, I think you just go down. If you're like, you can be revived by maybe the AI. I don't know if they do it. You can revive the AI because I did that a couple of times in the last boss fight.
Oh, my AI never died.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I didn't get a feel for how the combat was supposed to work. Really, like there's no flow to it. They're just sort of flying around randomly, shooting you until one of them like maybe charges you down and then fires something more powerful at you. And it's like, well, how do I properly dodge this?
Yeah.
And so it just.
But then, like, yeah, it feels like that might be a problem with the limited weapons in the demo. I don't know.
Maybe. If I had a melee weapon,
if there was something more fancy, maybe it would be more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not. It feels like it needs some like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry like combat mechanic. Yeah, something in it, just something to elevate it because there's nothing. Also, like I don't know about you, but I had problems with the mission timings seemed to go weird for me. Like I'd be hanging around with no enemies and nothing was happening, and it'd be like, okay, now what? And even like the AI would just all stop and hang about.
I remember that.
And then eventually it would cut into like, hey, there's something else on the radar, and it's like, well, good, I've been doing nothing for the last 90 seconds.
Yeah, I definitely did have a couple of times where it's just like there's one enemy somewhere. And then
I did not.
You just have to fly around for a while and be like, see if it's on the radar, and then try and work out what those radar icons mean in terms of like, is it above you or is it on the ground?
Yeah, no, I just couldn't find anything. And so the AI weren't trying; they were just stood still. So they weren't helping. And it's like, what's going on?
I think it's kind of unnecessary how it just lets you hang around at the end of the mission. I mean, I'm sure it's...
I think it's so you could go loot them.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it's for, but
loot the max.
Doesn't seem like you don't need that much time to do it.
Is it a way of potentially healing up as well, like so you don't have to lose so much money on when you return?
I don't know whether that counts towards that money pool. It's kind of
I don't
doesn't specifically say.
Because I got some reductions and I wasn't sure what for.
Yeah. And I wish the health was like faster. Because just having to go and stand in a health ball for like 30 seconds is kind of unnecessary.
Just hang about. There's just something. It's just not right, is it? There's something not right about it. I mean, like it doesn't. Technical stuff aside, it's just not there. It's just not there. I mean, it is a prototype, and they haven't actually announced a proper release yet.
No.
So this could be a way off still. But if it is a ways off, it needs it. So that was a shame. I was expecting a little more from it. I was expecting something from it.
Aw. Got your hopes up slightly.
Yeah, a little. It was a good first impression from those like trailers that they put out, because it's like, this is very un-Nintendo, as Zach said. It's like it's kind of a weird thing, but it comes across as both too Japanese and too badly made. Boo.
Right. Well, that's the transition. What else have you been playing, Rob?
I've been plugging away at God of War still. Not a huge amount, I think, to add to it this time. I haven't played as much of it as I would have liked. In this time, I'm not sure I'd get the. I've got to be honest with myself. As much as I like that game, as much as I don't know if I'm really feeling the draw at the moment.
Right.
And I don't really understand why. I have a good time of it whenever I start playing, and it has that thing where, like, once I've started playing it, I don't really want to put it down.
Stop. Yeah, that's good.
But
it's always good.
But it's like once I've stopped and I've gone to bed or whatever, and it's another day. It's I guess I want to sit down and spend a good amount of time with it, and my last couple of weeks haven't meant I've had good periods of time to spend with
to do that now. Well, maybe that'll happen with all games. Now you've sort of changed your kind of routine.
Yeah, what I do with my job and my routine and things like that. So it's a little. It's proved a little tricky. I've been wanting to jump into things that I can get a quicker hit out of.
Yeah.
But it's such as Apex Legends.
Ooh.
So I've been playing that with Kippers.
Battle Royale, man.
Yeah, so this is my first proper Battle Royale experience, I guess, other than the brief amount of time I toyed with Fortnite. And, like, when that first came out on Xbox. And I really quite like it.
Yep.
It's pretty good. It is the format is compelling, and Apex matches aren't as long as like PUBG or Fortnite. They're not
That's
like
good.
40-minute epics. They're like at most 20. But you know, you can die a lot faster than that, and you will do most of the time.
Games are longer than that often.
Yeah. So it's but the formula does work, like, clearly, because otherwise it wouldn't be so popular, right?
Indeed.
But they do a really smart job. Like, I guess this is like, perhaps they've had the benefit of hindsight here, having looked at several other games to try this. But they're pretty good at making their interface slick. Like, you know, one of my big concerns of like playing a battle royale game is having to stand around and deal with your inventory being completely exposed while you do it. But it's the amount of stuff that's on screen is small and smart enough that you can quickly do what you want to do. Like, I'm carrying an ammo type I don't really need, but I've got limited inventory space, so I press I, and there's a little grid appears below the crosshair of the stuff you're carrying, and to get rid of it, you just right-click it out of you, and it just drops it on the floor immediately. So you can do that really quickly.
Cool.
Once you get used to like noticing recognizing the icons of what you want and don't want, and it really smartly shows for ammo types and some stuff that you can't use, what you've picked up but you haven't got anything to use it with. It will actually show a little extra, like I don't know what you call it, but you know that symbol of a red circle with a red line through it, to be like, this is useless to you right now. Right. So you can go into that and like you can choose to keep hold of it because it's a decent attachment for a gun that you might want later if you find one, or it's a rare thing that you just can't use right now until one of your teammates might want it. Or in the case of ammo, it's just like, you don't have a gun that uses this ammo type, and it's just like, well, I'm just going to chuck that and make room for this fancy thing I found. And it's really smart. It's really quick in that respect. I haven't come across many talkers, which makes the ping function essential for communicating where you see people. Like, just the whole double tap ping to say there's an enemy over there.
Yeah.
Even if you can't see the enemy at that point in time, and do like a battlefield spot, you know, to say there was definitely someone in this building, and just send that message to everyone. That on its own is
really cool. Right.
It's crazy useful. Yeah.
Super useful, yeah.
Or, you know, when you're in a squad with randoms and you want to indicate where you want to go, you point it over a supply bin and it goes, there's probably cool stuff over there. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's probably what they meant to say. As we said last time, the sort of Left 4 Dead comparison is a good one.
Yeah.
To be able to sort of say, there's stuff over here. And it does, like, when you find objects, it's like you can ping it and it'll go, oh, there's some level 2 armor here. But then, better than that, you can, if you look at where they've just pinged, I can ping their marker that they just put up to say dibs. And it's nice. Like, I want that.
Yeah, I mean, the language of it, right, that you've got, it's quite quick to choose these things and they all make sense, right? And they
absolutely
work.
It's smartly designed for ease of access. And speed of doing it, which is important because the speed of the combat is very fast. Yeah. It's Titanfall fast, you know, just without wall running and double jumps. It's like the gunplay is quick and brutal, and you've got to be sharp. You really do. Despite the fact last time I said you are quite bullet spongy, having put some time with it, you're not as bullet spongy as I thought you were, having watched it. People can take hits if they're well equipped, like if they've got full health and a decent full shield, then yeah, it can be a bit of a pain to take them down. But the right weapon in the right situation will mess you up. Like a shotgun, for instance, the shotguns. Close range shotgun shot is gonna do you. I'm just like, maybe this is just because like Battle Royale's new to me, like I'm not really invested in it, but I'm having a really good time with it.
Cool. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's much of a looker because it's based on their now fairly old Source variant. but it runs well on my machine. It's got like adaptive FPS settings, so it will be dynamically scaling to make sure you maintain a target.
Okay, that's cool.
You can turn off adaptive
Are you running
super
it at
sampling.
ridiculous, like 140 hertz or something?
So annoyingly, even though I've got a 120 hertz monitor, the adaptive FPS only goes up to 100.
Oh.
So actually choosing that rate is a bad idea for me. So I target it at 70 FPS and VSync it to 60.
Yeah, sure.
So I get a solid 60 out of it that never wavers. As I said, even with like in Titanfall 2, I had a bit of a bad experience with it. It had adaptive super sampling in that as well, so it would like resolution scale above 100% if you had spare cycles. But I found that dragged performance into the dirt in Titanfall 2. But here it seems to work perfectly. So I'm my graphics card is always pushed to its limits at all times to give the smoothest image possible, and it's that works really well. So, to Zach specifically, I think if you have performance concerns, this game's probably going to be all right. It does a really good job.
It might automatically look shit.
Well, yes, it might look like garbage, but you'll be able to play
it. Hot garbage.
Yeah, there's some balance concerns at the moment, like surrounding it, in that the hitboxes for all the characters are slightly different based on how big, and some of the characters are just big, making them big targets. And there's no like health balancing for that. It's like you're just a big target. So the community is shifting towards playing as the small profile characters and not giving the big guys much of a chance, which is a problem. How they're going to balance that is currently unknown. And I would say that like I don't think it's the best map in the world. Like it's not huge, which isn't a problem because they're trying to make these quicker games. However, what I think is a problem is that some of the geometry they reuse, like buildings and mainly the buildings, they are kind of copy pasted about quite a bit. So if you go to one corner of the map that's supposed to be like a sewage plant, you're probably going to find the same building layouts.
It's kind of a shame when it's like the one map, right?
Yeah, it is a bugger. You'll go to one area and have the same fight that you could have had over the other side of the map, and I think that needs work for sure.
Right. Fair enough.
Because that's the one thing that Call of Duty does a way better job of that than it should. Fortnite clearly has that down. PUBG I think is known to use a bit of copy paste in its buildings and things like that. But yeah, they need to work on that for sure, because it gets a little bit confusing. It's like I thought I landed somewhere different, and I thought I wasn't where I was, but this building looks exactly the same. And has the exact same layout inside, and it's just like, yeah, it gets a little bit, where am I right now?
Right, yeah.
But it's good. I'm having a fun time with it. It's worth trying.
Yeah, there's a reason it's popular,
free.
Clearly. Yeah, totally free, good quality, fun. Yeah, it's got a lot going for it.
I mean, yeah, so it does have two of its 8 characters are behind a paywall at the moment, but you can, if you play enough, you can eventually earn enough currency to buy to unlock them without money. So you can go all free if you want, but it is going to take you a while. But yeah, they're doing all right. That's all I can say. They're doing all right. Apex Legends. All right, what else have I been doing? I have played through the entirety of Donut County.
I've forgotten how that works. But is it a puzzle game? I can't remember. What is it again?
Donut County is the game where you are moving a hole around to drop various. Well, you're basically just trying to swallow everything. And there are some mild puzzling elements to it, but it is mostly a narratively driven experience. To put this into context, I played it today in its entirety.
Wow!
In 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So it's not big. It is, however, very good.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's got a great sense of style. It's got a great soundtrack. The writing is fabulous. It's like it runs the line of being I don't know, both modern and cool in the sense that it's like how youngsters speak to some degree, but without being too irritating or too emoji filled or too.
It's not dirt free.
It's not dirt free. No, it's not like I have to upload this to YouTube. It's not older people trying to be cool, that kind of thing either. It does walk the line, and I think it does get it right.
That's good.
I don't know. One of my favorite things in it is like there's text message conversations.
Text mex. That's what you want.
There's the text mex.
The text mex.
Oh god, we're getting hungry.
Yeah.
There's a text message like conversation bit, but you can either just push this big reply button to like basically move it on, or there's a dedicated quack button.
Of course,
that seems to be their thing. Like so you can just quack at each other for indefinitely, which is fantastic.
I mean, Donut's unknown to quack, so makes sense.
Yeah, it's a quack man. The story's really good. It goes in some good directions. It does the whole sort of like it's told mostly in flashbacks, so you know where it goes, and then it has to resolve itself at the end. There's a couple of secrets along the way. It's not difficult. It's not. I wish it did more with its mechanics. I wish it got a little bit cleverer and tried more things. But it is an absolutely, it's a charming experience through and through. And the great delivery, the music that plays during a great delivery will stick with me for some time.
Sweet. Well, check it out if you've got 2 hours to spare.
Man, because I hate to be that guy, but honestly, it's like had I bought it for like its full price of about 16 quid or whatever it is,
right?
Like, I think I would have felt a little hard done by. But,
fair, yeah.
But it is very good. And yeah, more Smash, bit of Rocket League, as we said. That'll probably do me unless I randomly have another thought.
Unless you invent something that you play.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing lots of Dropmix still, but no one wants to hear about that. That seems to have been the theme for the last 6 weeks.
Well, I mean, it's interesting enough. You don't have to not talk about it, but sure.
But yeah, I don't know if I've even mentioned what it is on here, but like, yeah, it's that Harmonix music mixing game.
Yeah, with the cards.
And I don't know if I summed it up before, but everyone I've now shown it to, it's not had a bad reaction yet. Everyone loves it, but I think the general consensus is that it's better used as a random toy for just messing with than it is a card game.
Right? Yeah.
It's exactly. Like I do kind of agree. It's like the card game's all right, but you're there for the fun of making weird combinations.
Mm.
And at that, it's very good. Harmonix announced a new game as well.
Yeah.
They're making a VR shooting gallery rhythm game because I guess they saw that Beat Saber money.
Is that doing well enough to actually make money then, Beat Saber? As in
Beat Saber, yeah, Beat Saber's pretty. Oh, well, you know what? I don't know.
Well, for a VR game, it's probably making
yeah.
It's probably one of the more successful VR games, but
I do keep seeing stupid tracks that people have made on Reddit.
Yeah, it does keep coming up. And I think they're going for some of that. And like I watched some of it. They did a stream about it to launch it on the Harmonix Twitch channel, and it looks cool. It's a little bit derivative, and it doesn't look like it's got enough style yet. But like I can see that there is something to just shooting stuff out of the air rhythmically and occasionally punching stuff out of the air rhythmically as well, with two controllers. And, the patterns they're doing in time to the music do look fun to do. Like they were showing some of the expert level stuff, and it's like, okay, if you nail this looks like a lot of fun. It looks cool. But, it's one of those. They'll probably have better music built in, you would hope, from Harmonix than perhaps some of these others like Beat Saber do, where they've had to get like indie musicians in that. I don't know. I think some people had some complaints about like Beat Saber's actual inbuilt music not being all that, You'd hope Harmonix might do a better job, but then I don't think Harmonix's job on Amplitude is all that. Like, the music choice isn't great.
Yeah.
But then Amplitude was made on a hell of a budget, so... I mean, hell of a small budget, not hell of a...
Yeah. But, that's what you mean, yeah.
That way around. So that's me! What you doing?
Right.
How's your spidering?
Just still spidering, still enjoying it. I haven't played that much over the past 2 weeks, to be honest, but I have played quite a few, so I'm just moving on through. I've got pretty decent at the combat at this point. I can manage it now. I mean, you get a lot of upgrades. Like, it's one of those games where it's a little bit wonky at first, and then you unlock a bunch of stuff a little bit. But yeah, so that's all cool. And yeah, still think the swinging is really pretty good.
Where are you at? What's your completion percentage?
No,
because it just tells you that straight up.
Percent, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The story, I think. What's going on? I don't know. I did the big chase through the city with the Mr. Negative guy in a giant truck thing of doom.
Right.
Like a huge military style truck. I'd say that's probably just over halfway.
So have you got to this is the obvious question. Have you got to any of the stuff they trailed in other than you must have done the helicopter fight by the chase.
Yeah. Done that part.
But have you because that's relatively early. But have you got to the Sinister Six or whatever that they showed in the trailer
in the prison? No, I have not got there yet.
Yeah, see, isn't that a little bit frustrating?
It's kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not the game's fault that they fucked up the marketing. It's
no.
Yeah. Yeah. But kind of looking forward to that. That would be cool. You can see it, obviously, that prison off the side of the,
and it's highlighted as a landmark or something. You need to deal with, or photo at least.
Yeah, but I'm doing some dicking around, doing some side missions and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. But I haven't got much else to say on it other than still enjoying it. Need to spend more time with it.
I need to go back and do the DLC.
Yeah, and then it'll be a case of I don't actually know what's next because this run of games on the PS4 has been like, well, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm clearly doing God of War and then Red Dead and then Spider-Man. That was like, I could have told you I was going to do that like 6 months ago, probably. So I don't actually know what's next other than like thinking about replaying Zelda. So, we shall see.
Maybe pick up Horizon.
Well, I'd have to play that on PC.
No, not Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn. No, I saw Gary playing a bit of that, and it really doesn't appeal to me. I don't know what it is about. Yeah, something about it. Like,
I thought the open worldness would be right up your street.
Well, I know, but like, it just looks a bit like I don't know what it is about it. It just seems a little bit like derivative in places. Like, oh, this is a bit Assassin's Creedy, or this is like Breath of the Wild, but not as good. And that's
I find it weird to say, but
I
know. I think I know what you mean. It's sort of there's as good as it looks to me. Like I still really do want to play it. There is a certain amalgamation-ness of it. Like I don't know. I weirdly get a bit of a Tomb Raider vibe from some of it, like which is not quite what. And maybe that's just because of the bow-based combat. But
Year of the bow.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, I would like it, but in practice, I don't think I'm into the. But maybe the bow combat is really good or something. I don't know. I saw Gary playing a little bit where he was trying to infiltrate a base, and it looked pretty clunky in that aspect of the stealth and stuff. In fact, the stealth seems very sort of Skyrim, which is weird.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Huh. Complete with, like an eye icon that opens and closes like Skyrim.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, not sure about that. But, don't take my word for it.
I haven't seen any of that. I've only ever seen the sort of like in the wilderness hunting stuff. Right,
yeah. No, I think there's more, there's more conventional stuff in there. So yeah, I'm not like hyped to play that, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we shall see. But I'm happily playing Spider-Man, so I shall continue with that. I'm just having random thoughts of, I should play some Civilization 6 or something like that.
Right, yeah.
I mean, supposedly that DLC that just came out is pretty good for a DLC.
Is it the Fix-It DLC?
Yep.
Does it fix everything?
Apparently, diplomacy might actually function like real diplomacy now.
Okay.
After 6 whole games.
I might have to get that. I mean, why not? I mean, if you're going to put your hours into playing Civ 6, you might as well pay the extra, what is it, like 15, 20 quid or something to have have it up to speed.
Well, they might sell it in the bundle pack now, right?
Yeah.
So you get the both for what Civ 6 launched at. So
I need to watch Civ Quick Look or something so I can see what the feature... Because I think it looks like if it piles on too many features, like the religion was already a bit much, but if it's got like climate change and stuff, my head's going to start exploding.
You see, I don't really mind that. I've only ever played the Civ games. Well, the last Civ game, I came in late, right? So I've only played it with everything on it.
Yeah. I think it is better to have more to do. Yeah.
So bad if it's because that would be like a late game thing. Right?
Yeah, so late game things are good, I think, because it gets a bit like by the late game you're like going. You've got so many cities you're pinging around and stuff. It's good to have.
Yeah, you're just like clicking the next production icon over and over on every city on every turn.
Yeah, which gets kind of annoying. I still find it annoying how. I don't know why we're going to talk about Civ now because I mentioned it, but like I still find it annoying how enemies build too many cities and then too close together, and then if you take them over, then you can't.
Then you're stuck with all these cities.
Yeah, you're stuck with the shitty cities forever in stupid places, and there's nothing you could do because you can't raise them because it's just,
not now you can't.
It's just evil. Yeah. So that's. Classically,
you kind of want them to have like a natural spread of where cities can like merge into each other or something.
Yeah, that doesn't.
They're too close that they can kind of be like, oh, now these are just one city.
I mean, they can practically overlap now, but they're still technically separate cities, aren't they? Which looks really weird if you have like 2 of the same amenity next to each other that are from different cities. I think that can happen, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they should have just come up with a better idea, because like raising a city or not raising a city, like that was your only option in the past, and it's like there's more granular options than kill everyone or don't.
Yeah, exactly.
How about resettle everyone?
Yeah, resettling, or like encourage people to move or somehow so that you could then I'm sure you could do that, have incentives to like, because that would happen naturally in the real world. It's like people would move to a more attractive.
They would move whilst the fight was on.
Well, and if you had these cities where like they were badly positioned and they were competing for resources, then probably naturally, those people wouldn't want to live in those cities because they'd just be bad compared to other cities.
But that just doesn't happen, does it? Like once you found
the game penalises you, doesn't it, for having your cities too close because you just can't maximise the resource.
Yeah, but that's not really penalising. That's just like. It's an inefficiency on your level, like it's inefficient, but the game doesn't really care.
But does the AI suffer for it as a result? Like, are they getting worse deals?
Well, it's hard to tell with Civ's AI because it's like who knows what cheats the AI is getting anyway.
It's a bit cheaty.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wish that had some kind of solution, but.
Just wait for another game plus another DLC, and then maybe they'll fix it.
Well, there's one DLC.
Wait for the DLC of Civ 7, and then everything will be better.
I mean, it might be a case of play one mammoth game of Civ every time an expansion pack comes out. Because, I mean...
Not a very efficient cost analysis.
No, maybe not, but we shall see.
We've seen another news about games that are coming out at some point that might interest us.
Yeah.
One Finger Death Punch 2.
Yeah, I did see that. Although that's got into that classic area of like it was better when it was simpler.
Maybe.
I mean, obviously we haven't played it and we've only seen the little bits of video.
It'll be the same. It would just be different presentations, slightly. The animation has been tarted up a little.
I think they may be putting too much animation, where it's like it's now obscuring. Even though you're not looking at the animation most of the time anyway, it's like now we're getting obscured even at that point. At that level,
it's a little smoother. They're doing the Paper Mario thing at times as well, where they look at it, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
In an odd way, it looks like they've actually like scaled back some of the terrible graphics and made it a little
well that would be
lent into their kind of super cheesy style, but with better assets.
Sure. I mean, reducing the terribleness of the graphics is the thing that you want, but like going too fancy might actually work against it.
Mm.
We'll see though. It does seem a bit weird that you just get like a sniper rifle. I mean, it's functionally equivalent to the bow, but like,
yeah, that is slightly weird. But I dig it. Well, yeah, that thing.
Well, I think this is a podcast.
Yeah, probably.
We got any
canals?
Canals. We got any YouTube videos coming up along the canal?
Well, today, in fact, on YouTube, but I haven't posted it on the Happy Salad blog yet.
Otherwise known as a week late.
Yeah. The last part of the Half-Life series has gone up.
The last part.
So enjoy Zen and the Art of Quick Save.
Because that's the only way through Zen, right?
Well, it was more a problem of working out what the fuck to even do.
Right, yeah.
Even though I remembered some bits I didn't. And then quick saving happened.
And mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
And then next week, you can, if I get my arse together and get it out in time.
Get your arse together.
Well, yeah, it's currently in 2 pieces. I need to bring them together. Make a butt clap. And then you might get a video for episode 1 Racer.
Wow. Classic.
Yeah, you better enjoy it. It was a pain in the arse to record. So.
What inspired that? Because Eurogamer just did one on episode 1 Racer.
Oh, did they?
What inspired that was the...
Son of a bitch!
What inspired that is the install folder had been sitting on Rob's desktop since I put it there months and months ago. Yeah. And we just occasionally remembered that it existed.
Oh, but...
like, no.
Well, because we tried recording something else. We tried recording English Country Tune as the next and last Steam A to Z.
Boring.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good video, and it crashed anyway, and we lost the video. So it's like, well, let's do... Zach wasn't feeling it, so it's like, let's do something else.
I'm just remembering that the Eurogamer one, I don't think they worked out how to boost. So,
oh dear.
Yeah. So
well, at least
we might
we
have to show them how it's done.
Have a slightly better video than that then.
Yeah. Well, we did. It's still kind of dull, but hey, that game.
Yeah, just talk over it.
Yeah.
I mean, the hilarious pilot names.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Those are some good pilots.
Dodbolt.
I forget some of the funnier ones now. Dudbolt is actually nothing.
Yeah.
No, that's nothing. There's some really weird ones that the game developers clearly made up to go along with the...
Wasn't there one like Fast Man or something? Like a fast race driver? Like something really bad.
I wish I still had the photos of the Lego models we made of all the weird...
some
pods.
of them anyway.
I made some of the pods.
You made Team Toe.
Team Toe
Yeah,
Baggerlies,
I made Team Toe Baggerlies. Yeah, that was the best one.
Abe Endicott.
Endicott. Cool. Well, look out for that, listeners, on our YouTube channel. And after Half-Life, make sure to wrap that up. And we'll join you in a couple of weeks for another Salad Cast.
Throw that salad.
Goodbye.
Cast it out.